Hancock Stadium at Illinois State. We'll come back to take a look at Byron and Mount Carmel when we come back.
In life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
Every year, the Whiffles family celebrates the season the best way they know how. And every year, they add a little something new. After all this time, you'd think all that extra work put into every last detail would get old. Well, think again. Whiffles Hybrids. Season's greetings from our U.S. farm family to yours.
I couldn't ask for a better agent, for a better company in a disaster where you have no idea where to start.
I learned that there's not a given in life. It takes a team. There's people that are going to watch out for us and make care.
It's been pretty stressful. Once we saw Lori and got our plan, it's
like a huge weight lifted.
Would you look at that? I'm in the classroom again. But this time, I can apply these skills to make some money. Lots of money.
Have a cough, sore throat, or fever, or need care now for pink eye, a urinary tract infection, or a rash? OSF On-Call Urgent Care is here to treat you. Get care in person, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, even holidays, and walk out with a prescription for your care if needed. Make a reservation today or start a virtual visit 24/7. It's just that easy. Find a location near you. osfoncall.org/urgent care.
Welcome back to the IHSA TV network. Already had 2 games underway. The third game getting set. There you're getting a look at Byron as they get ready to take on Mount Carmel in the 3A championship game. We'll see if they can match the excitement and the defensive intensity of the first 2 games we had here today in 1A and in 2A.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to put it. Wilmington getting the championship. Camp Point Central got the first championship of the day. Let's actually look back at that 2A championship as we just saw as Wilmington was able to pull off their 3rd championship in their school's history, the 3rd one since 2014. First quarter action here, Ryan Kettman getting the handoff and finding the end zone. That would make it 7-0 Wildcats. Second quarter here, Athens defense stepping up. Kyle Farrell with the fumble. Braden Leathers forcing it there. Blake Charnowski with the recovery. That would lead to a field goal. And then again, Ryan Kettman on the handoff. And again, another fumble. Corey Craig forcing this one. And Charnowski there for the return. Always in the right spot for him. They go into the half down 7-3. Middle of the second quarter, though, this would help set up a huge drive for Wilmington. Kyle Farrell getting to the outside. 13 yards leads to a QB sneak. It's 14-3. And then Kyle really puts the nail in the coffin here. A 78-yard run, 192 on the day for him, 254 as a team. That makes it 21-3, 28-3, your final in that 2A game as they come away with the championship. So we saw that one, and then earlier, of course, the 1A champion, Lena Winslow and Camp Point Central taking on each other. The first shutout for Lena Winslow since 2007, a historic win for Camp Point Central as they get their first championship.
Yeah, just incredibly impressive. And again, you watch this Lee-Win team, and it's all about ground game, and they were able, unfortunately, just couldn't get on track today.
Yeah, they get a first score here late in the drive here now. A pass here from Elijah Gittenbacher getting in the end zone. We saw really these 2 teams that kind of went back and forth defensively throughout that game, but it was Camp Point Central who made just enough plays to kind of get over the edge.
Well, and changed up a little offensively, too. We saw the passing game. Again, it's a team that doesn't throw a ton, but they left it all out on the table, and here you go. Breaks open a run up the middle from the fullback.
Yeah, Elijah Ginnenbarger had a huge day, 23-yard touchdown run there to make it 7-0 Camp Point Central. He had a huge day to kind of help his squad. This was his second touchdown of the day that really closed the door late in the fourth quarter. That sealed it up there, his second TD to help Camp Point Central get over the top and win 14-0 in that 1A championship game. So we saw two guys put together great running performances so far.
We did, and we knew we were going to get that coming in, so that lived up to the billing. We had a couple of great running backs. We've got another great running back coming up, but as we said, we're going to see a mix of offense coming up from here on out for the last two games, and should be exciting. Should be a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, Byron certainly does like to run the ball. Mount Carmel does like to mix it up a little more with run and the pass, so we'll see if the scoring actually opens up. Wilmington didn't look like they'd get to 28, but they did it, so we'll see just how these next set of games kind of go as well. Today, as we've already seen the 1A and 2A champions come away with their crowns. There's another look at Hancock Stadium. Byron and Mount Carmel getting ready to play in Class 3A. We are maybe less than 10 minutes away from kickoff here in this action. We got more to come when we come back.
December 6th, the final GOP debate of the year is on America's fastest-growing cable news network, News Nation. SiriusXM's Megyn Kelly, News Nation's Elizabeth Vargas, and the Washington Free Beacon's Eliana Johnson moderate a live primetime event from the University of Alabama as the candidates make their case to America on the only network for all America. The News Nation Republican primary debate, live December 6th, 8 Eastern. To find News Nation on your TV, go to joinnn.com.
Bob Riding's pre-owned under $29,990. Ford, GM, Honda, Nissan, Kia, Toyota, and many more. 2020 Ford Escape Hybrid, $27,988.
Shop us online at bobridings.com.
Introducing Finish Ultimate, engineered for the toughest conditions. Dry, burnt-on stains, old dishwashers, very hard water. New Finish Ultimate with CycleSync technology helps deliver the ultimate clean.
For moderate to severe Crohn's disease, Skyrizi is the first IL-23 inhibitor that can deliver remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining.
Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, had a vaccine, or plan to. Liver problems may occur in Crohn's disease.
Control of Crohn's means everything to me. Ask your gastroenterologist about Skyrizi. Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
Moments away from the 3A championship, there's another look at Hancock Stadium at Illinois State University. Byron and Mount Carmel will be facing off on the field in the 3A championship game. We saw a defensive battle, a lot of running plays from the first two games. This one will be a little more open once they actually hit the field.
Should be a lot to look forward to in this coming game. Really excited to see Blaine Sisson, watch him operate. I mean, he's had a tremendous year for Mount Carmel. And then the start of this game and really the rest of the games, there's a ton of talented underclassmen to watch, and Caden Considine is one for sure for Byron. Again, that family history and tradition. And this young man's only a sophomore. Watch what he does for this team. He does a lot as a sophomore. Excellent, excellent player.
Yeah, his father had a great career himself when he was in high school, went on to the NFL as well, winning a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens, and now he's playing for him on the defensive side as he's the DC for their squad, and he's having himself a good season as well.
A lot of family, a lot of tradition at Byron. You go back and just some terrific coaches. You know, Everett Stein is a big part of that, and again, it's a family. Football is a huge thing with Byron. It's huge everywhere, especially in that community.
And for Byron, they right now, currently entering this game, have the record for the most points per game. Yeah. They also are second all-time in points scored with 754 on the season. That'll be key if Mount Carmel can keep them out of the end zone.
And they're running the ball. Okay, they're not throwing it all over the place. They're running the football, but watch how good they are at running that football.
Yeah, we'll see if Mount Carmel can not only either keep pace or keep them out of the end zone itself. That'll be quite the test that we see out there on the field between those two squads A lot of both history between these two squads as well. We will see what happens in the 3A championship game. We got a new crew for you out there on the field. Dave Bernhardt and Jack McInerney will take you through all the action when they actually kick off out there. We'll send it out to them as we got to get their thoughts on this first matchup here of their day. Hey, guys.
Hey, Darius and Edgy, we are ready to roll here in Class 3A. Glad to have you with us, Dave Bernhardt, Jack McInerney, and Jack. We didn't see a lot of points scored in the first two ball games. I think it's going to be a little bit different here tonight.
I'll tell you what, that scoreboard better have extra bulbs available because one team scores 58 a game, the other scores 42 a game, so it'll be a big, big night of, hopefully, scoreboard workouts.
And, you know, one of the reasons for Mount Carmel is their quarterback. Let's take a look at our players to watch. First of all, the quarterback from Mount Carmel, he is going to be outstanding here tonight, Mr. Sisson.
He does everything. I mean, he averages 295 yards himself of total offense. He runs for over 120 yards a game. He passes for over 130. And the other part of it is he also is the punter. So he kind of does everything for them.
Blaine Sisson's been outstanding all season long. And another two guys for Byron have been outstanding. There's number 37, Caden Considine. He's joined the backfield by Braden Knoll.
Well, he's only a sophomore, and Knoll's only a junior. So you talk about young guys with a lot of experience. But the thing is, they both average 1,000 yards, which is amazing out of the wing tee to have 2,000-yard rushers. And that's what they have at Byron, and they're very explosive.
All right, so I guess we've given you a few numbers there, Darius, in terms of we're going to see some points here tonight. So let's send it back to the studio in Chicago as we get set for kickoff here in Normal.
Thank you, Dave and Jack. Of course, they'll have the full call of that action once they kick off there at 3A. And they talked about the same guys we talked about. Those will be some of the key players that we'll see if they can put their stamp on this game.
So does a pitch backward count as a pass or no?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think
no, it doesn't. So, no, that won't count. But, yeah, I think the guys are on it. We're going to see a lot of action in this 3A game, no question.
Yeah, we will see who emerges victorious from that action once it actually kicks up off on the field there. Kickoff a little bit away. We've got that coming up for you when we come back in the 3A championship game between Byron and Mount Carmel.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
Prepare for the holidays with great Black Friday deals at Menards. We have the perfect gifts for your family and friends, or to help finish your projects, both big and small. Now's the perfect time to hurry in and get these amazing stocking stuffers and other fantastic gifts. Menards Black Friday deals are so great that even Santa himself can't resist.
Season's greetings to you all from Menards.
Want a great career? Join the Carpenters Union and be part of the next generation building our communities. With the Carpenters Union Career Connections program, high school students get a head start on the industry's leading curriculum. Learn the latest in construction technology and the many skilled crafts the Carpenters Union represents. Plus, earn as you learn. Receive a nice paycheck, health insurance benefits, and best of all, no college debt. Ask your school district to participate in the Career Connections program and get started on your future.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
Welcome back to the IHSA TV network. Just about that time for the 3A kickoff between Byron and Mount Carmel. I'm sure you and all the fans feel exactly the same way.
Let's go.
A Byron team looking for their third ever state championship. Mount Carmel looking for their second ever. This will be the second meeting for these two teams since 1999. That one was won by Byron on their way to one of their state titles back in '99.
Yeah, and again, not real close. It's a little bit of a distance between Mount Carmel, Illinois, and Byron, but yeah, the history is intriguing for sure.
Two really good offenses, some pretty good defense as well we should see from both sides. That's just a taste, though, for the actual action of what actually happens out there. We send you out to Dave Bernhardt and Jack McInerney, who will take you through each play of this contest. Hey, guys.
Hey, Darius, we are ready to go. You know, we talked about numbers and offense and everything, but defense does matter in a game like this, too.
Well, what's interesting about it, both these teams are high scoring. If we put their averages together, we'll have 100 points on the scoreboard today. Byron averages 58, and Mount Carmel averages 42. So I guess my question would be, who can play defense here? And that'll be the difference in the ball game. Probably a little special team, but big as far as defense.
Well, if we take a look at the playoff run here for Mount Carmel, they've given up a few points, averaging 33 points allowed. Here it is. You take a look at the closest ball game was the very first round game, but look at the last two ball games, Unity and Roxana. Yeah, Golden Aces have scored 119, but they gave up 94. Now in that Roxana game, Mount Carmel scored on every offensive possession except the last one where they took a knee. You want points? I have points for you. It's coming from Byron. They are the leading scoring team in the state as Mount Carmel takes the field, bidding for their second state championship, and they'll try to do it right here at Hancock Stadium. But for Byron, here are the big numbers for Byron. You're not even going to see the entire season stats. 72, 56, 63. Now, that win over Montini had to come from behind in the fourth quarter, scored with just a little over 3 minutes to play to win that ball game. But it's the highest scoring team in the state. They're bidding for a state season scoring record. Byron with a couple of state championships, a couple of second-place finishes. They'll look to do it here at Hancock Stadium, and our 3A championship game is coming your way next.
The IHSA Football State Championships are being brought to you in part by Country Financial. Find out why over 1 million families let us protect their lives and livelihoods. Visit countryfinancial.com.
I couldn't ask for a better agent, for a better company in a disaster where you have no idea where to start.
I learned that there's not a given in life. It takes a team. There's people that are going to watch out for us and they care.
It's been pretty stressful. Once we saw Lori and got our plan, it's
like a huge weight lifted.
Would you look at that? I'm in the classroom again. But this time, I can apply these skills to make some money. Lots of money.
Have a cough, sore throat, or fever, or need care now for pink eye, a urinary tract infection, or a rash? OSF On-Call Urgent Care is here to treat you. Get care in person, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, even holidays, and walk out with a prescription for your care if needed. Make a reservation today or start a virtual visit 24/7. It's just that easy. Find a location near you. osfoncall.org/urgent care.
Every year, the Whiffles family celebrates the season the best way they know how. And every year, they add a little something new. After all this time, you'd think all that extra work put into every last detail would get old. Well, think again. Whiffles Hybrids. Season's greetings from our U.S. farm family to yours.
Time for the SIU Carbondale Keys to the Game. The Keys to the Game are brought to you by Southern Illinois University Carbondale. Imagine the possibilities.
Well, as we're looking at Mount Carmel here, you know that they have to play aggressive football for all 4 quarters when you go up against a team that averages 58 points a game. And the big part for Mount Carmel is they're going to have to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, not only offensively, but also defensively. For Byron, the big thing is to keep the quarterback contained. We talked about in the open how dynamic he is and 295 yards of total offense. The big thing is Byron has the depth where they could wear down Mount Carmel. We'll have to see if that's the case.
Well, let's meet the third member of our broadcast team. She's down the field where it's a little bit cooler. That's Casey Standehart.
Dave, thanks. When choosing a team motto, Byron head coach Jeff Boyer let his players decide. The team landed on respect all, fear none. Coach said it's important to them, so it's important to me. This Byron football team prides itself on being respectful, but never cowering to any opponent. That same fearless mindset is what led Byron to a championship in 1999. And this state team reminds Boyer a lot of that team. Knowing that serves as a driving factor for players like Caden Considine, who said, we're definitely in their shoes. That's huge for us. Dave?
Thank you very much, Casey. We're all lined up, ready to go. Mount Carmel won the toss. They chose to defer to the second half, so Byron will get its hands on the ball first. Deep for Jeff Boyer's team. It will be a couple of game breakers, as many of them are. Braden Knoll along with Ashton Henkel. It'll be Shade Loudermilk picking it off for the Golden Aces from Mount Carmel. 12-1 on the season on a 12-game winning streak. A little bit short, and it will come up to the 15-yard line. Henkel has it from there. And Byron will start from about their 33. Today's starting lineups are presented by OSF. We'll take a look at Byron. We've already talked about a couple of them. As Byron will head to the ball. Get a good look inside that Tiger huddle. Offensive line for Byron, big. 300, 240. That's the left side of the line, and Nolan Brass and Jared Church. First play is a little pitch, and it goes to Considine, a short gain on first down.
Well, Dave, you know I'm not a math major, but that averages out to 245 pounds on that offensive line for Byron.
Jared Clonch, he's a 3-year starter, and he's just a junior. He started in this state championship game a couple of years ago, and as we said, that left side of the line of Brass and Clonch, they are huge. In the backfield, we've already talked about Considine and Knoll. The quarterback, you see him coming to the line right there, is Aiden Schenk. And he'll have some weapons to work with, mainly in the backfield. You'll see this misdirection all day long, and this time it will go to Braden Knoll.
Well, one of the biggest things that defense has to do against a team like this is they have to have defensive discipline. And that's so very important defensively.
Now, you have to keep a close eye on Henkel, Knoll, Considine, whoever may be in that backfield, as Byron will rotate a number of people in there. The tight ends, Braylon Kilduff, along with Kyle Jones, do the blocking. All the formations tight here for the Tigers. Third down and a couple. Right up the middle, Considine with it. Bangs through a couple of tacklers across midfield. He's down near the 45-yard line.
That's the bread and butter play when you're coming out of the wing T look or a full house. That fullback, 14 yards on that particular play, and all it is a straight dive, and the offensive line just locks on and drives them off the football.
Once again, our starting lineup presented by OSF. And those folks on the defensive line are going to be tested tonight. You get a look at big number 77 for Mount Carmel. Here's Stink. Motion from Henkel. Takes a pretty good hit that time. A short gain on first down. Mount Carmel defensively, continuing on with that. You've got several players will go both ways. You'll see Acree in the backfield as well. Asher Kite. He was injured for most of the regular season, came on big. He's tough on defense. Andrew Gillihan also a two-way player. And again, you see Blaine Sisson on the defensive side. Big hole for Considine. One man to beat. Stiff arm fighting to the 15-yard line.
Well, that's one of those plays where the offensive line did their job right there. You had a little jet action sweep look, and they come right back. You'll see the jet action sweep, and that outside linebackers go with the jet sweep, and they just give it to the fullback up the middle. And that's the toughness you see that he has. And he's also a wrestler in the offseason, so that gives you kind of an idea of his toughness.
Well, as Blaine Sisson, they had to wrestle Considine down after a gain of 27. It takes it to the 15-yard line. Considine already with 44 yards on 3 carries. He'll get it again. Dances at the 10-yard line. He's going to take it in. That didn't take long.
That actually is one of the reasons why I was kind of surprised that they decided to give Byron the football to start the ball game off, because of the explosiveness of that offense. And here they are on their first drive down the field, and they score.
Nick Drake on for the extra point as Considine scores his 26th touchdown of the season. Drake's kick. Good. We have not yet played 3 minutes, and the highest scoring team in the state has 7 on the board. We'll take a break, come back, kickoff coming up. Golden Aces get the ball next.
Prepare for the holidays with great Black Friday deals at Menards. We have the perfect gifts for your family and friends, or to help finish your projects, both big and small. Now's the perfect time to hurry in and get these amazing stocking stuffers and other fantastic gifts. Menards Black Friday deals are so great that even Santa himself can't resist.
4 seasons greetings to you all from Menards.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
The IHSA Football State Championships are being brought to you in part by Menards, SIU Carbondale, and by Mid-America Carpenters Regional Council.
Two minutes, 44 seconds on the drive time. 55 yards from Caden Considine. 6th play, 67 yards. And Jack, now it's time for a math quiz. What is that average per carry?
Oh, why do you put me on the spot like 11 yards?
Okay.
11 yards per carry. Can you imagine that in the first drive of the state championship game? You average 11 yards per carry. Maybe that's why they average 58 points a game.
Well, you know, it's interesting because Byron averages 11.2 yards per carry through the entire season, through 13 games leading up to here. And they do it on that opening drive. And this one's going to roll, take a hop. They want to get into the hands of Sisson. Now to about the 40-yard line, maybe the 41-yard line on the return. That time it was Asher Kite that was able to get it. And now let's take a look at that offensive lineup for Mount Carmel. Today's starting lineups presented by OSF. And we've talked a lot about the backfield, but here you have the offensive front. Connor Shelby, biggest man in the offensive front, right tackle, 6'4", 270 pounds. So he's heading to the left side right there. Coming home party a bit for him. We'll tell you more about that later. And here it is, the backfield. Andrew Gillihan, almost 1,000 yards rushing. And we talked about Blaine Sisson, almost 3,000 total yards. And it will be Sisson on first down. Sisson will be close to a first down. Blaine Sisson with 2,081 yards rushing coming into this game.
Well, that's what you need a quarterback to do. And we mentioned in our keys that that's going to be the big problem for Byron, is to contain the quarterback. Now, one of the reasons that he is so good is he averaged 9 yards on that particular carry, is the fact that he keeps plays alive with his feet. And he's a very good passer because he averages 135 yards a game throwing the football.
Already Mount Carmel has the ball in midfield, second down and a yard. Sisson to keep again. And he's able to fight forward. That should be enough for a first down. Looked like he may have been stopped for a loss. And Sisson, the 6'2", 190-pound senior, gets that first down against the Byron defense. Our lineup's presented by OSF. Jared Clonch going both ways, the All-Stater, along with Kilduff. It's been a very active defensive front. The linebackers, Aiken, Talbert, and Knoll. Talbert, just a freshman. Free safety. 2 plays and a first down for the Golden Aces. They'll go to the air. And never gets the receiver knocked down at the line. And there you have the linebackers. One of the leaders of that group for Byron is Carson Bain, 5'8" senior.
Well, it's very important for Mount Carmel to be able to show that they're going to throw the ball once in a while. Now, that was knocked down, an incompletion, but it's still the fact that the defense needs to know they're going to throw the football. Now, here they're showing them a passing formation, so that's going to loosen up those linebackers a little bit.
Sisson has thrown for 1,762 yards this year. Motion to Jack Webb. They'll throw that side. 2 passes, 2 incompletions.
That was a key drop right there because they had a little room out there with that flanker screen. And you can see that he's telling the quarterback that was his fault, which means don't be afraid to throw it back to me again later on in the ball game.
I don't think they're going to be too afraid of that. Asher Kite, a dynamic playmaker for Mount Carmel. Now facing a 3rd down and 10. Sisson on the move. Throwing on the run is picked off. Interception the other way. Intercepted by Carter Grow-Herring, and Byron is in business.
Well, this is what Mount Carmel wanted to do. They wanted to get Sisson out on the edge for an RPO, which is a run-pass option, but he really threw it right into coverage right there.
Big defensive play. Carter Grow-Herring staring right in the eyes of Sisson. And he has set up his team in Mount Carmel territory when we come back.
When you plant Whiffles hybrids, you're making a statement that independence and family-owned means something on your farm. So make your choice. Plant your independence. Plant Whiffles.
Smiles. These are the healthy smiles of real Delta Dental members. Folks with access to the nation's largest network of dentists and low-deductible plans with 100% preventive care coverage, all backed by over 65 years of expertise. Go online or give us a call to learn about affordable individual plans that meet your needs. 1-800-335-8215.
The stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that high-yielding hybrids soon would be there. Hope you get everything you want this year. Happy holidays from your friends at Whiffles Hybrids.
7-0 Byron. They took their first possession and marched it down the field. They're going to get a chance here to have a shorter field yet, thanks to the interception by Carter Grow-Herring.
Well, Mount Carmel did well on their first 2 run plays. They were very successful. Then they went 2 passes incomplete, and here's the 3rd pass in a row, which was an interception. Now, they're trying to take advantage of the quarterback's ability to run the football, get him out on the edge, but he threw it right into coverage right there, and you cannot afford to give Byron this kind of field position.
It's the 19th interception of the season for the Byron Tigers. On the counter. Noel, short yardage, maybe a couple.
And that's a big play. We talked about this, Jim, where you got to play discipline, very important discipline on the backside of any kind of a counter. Don't take off down the field trying to make a play. Wait till it comes to you, and that's what you have to do on this particular defense, especially with a team that runs a lot of counters.
The team averages 403 yards rushing per game this season. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8. And about 3 yards after contact. Once again, Noel with the carry.
Well, averaging over 400 yards of running offense. That's average about 36 carries a game to get those 400 yards, which you mentioned before was an 11 points a carry. And to think that they only passed the ball for an average of 29 yards a game, and yet they still score 58 points a game.
Well, I was just going to say, Aiden Shank has only passed 27 times this season. This time it goes straight up the middle. Offensive line searches forward, and that's a 1st down. Head coach for Mount Carmel is Michael Brewer. He actually played in a state championship game a couple of times for Mount Carmel. He said Byron's physicality, he's really speaking of the offensive line for Byron, he said just jumped out at him. In fact, he put the film on. The first play he saw the offensive line get off the ball, he stopped it and just said, "Holy cow."
I bet that's a big term when you're from a farm community.
Flag goes down. You know, and you saw number 5, Ashton Henkel, flying through there. Then Considine got the handoff. This play, of course, will come back 5 yards. But in terms of keying the ball, or keying your assignment, how does that work?
Well, backside, anytime you're running up against a team like this, which is a wing team, they come back with counters and traps up the middle. You cannot not afford to over-pursue the football, which means backside, if the play's away from you, backside just waits until the ball clears the line of scrimmage. Then you take your angle of pursuit.
7th year as head coach at Mount Carmel. Pretty sweet record of 56-16. Michael Brewer played right here at Illinois State University. A walk-on, he became a starter. Dancing to the outside. Considine takes the big hit. He'll go down. Blaine Sisson puts him down. But not till he gets to the 31-yard line.
It's hard to imagine that as hard as he runs, he's only a sophomore.
Considine, 6 foot, 205 pounds.
Well, there's what I like right there, 205 pounds, and he's got those quick feet, and that's just a good hit coming up from the safety position.
So they get the penalty yardage back on one play. Bursting up the middle, Considine again. He just emerges through the middle. 7th carry of the quarter for Caden Considine, and another first down for the Byron Tigers.
And again, it's backside where it's just a kind of a trap inside. And he really does a nice job of getting up into the hole very quickly. Oftentimes, a young player like he is as a sophomore will take a little too much time getting to the line of scrimmage, which makes it difficult for that offensive line to sustain their blocks.
Carry number 8, Considine. A load inside the 10-yard line.
Again on the carry.
Now, anytime a running back carries the ball as often as he does, that tells you something about his conditioning and maybe even the conditioning program that they have in the offseason. But the other part of it is he's an athlete, so he's really never out of condition.
Baseball player, basketball player, you talk about conditioning. How about 32 carries in the semifinal last week against Montini? That was good for 244 yards. This will be stopped after a very short gain. Henkel got the call on that one.
And that actually, Jim, as you Dave, that you mentioned, that was the closest game they've had all season, was the game against Montini last week, and that's when Braden Knoll scored 3 touchdowns. So they got away from Considine a little bit, but Knoll came through with 3 big touchdowns.
Here's the 8th play of the drive for Byron. Already working on a 7-0 lead, and that is a stalemate. What's interesting, as you said, Knoll was such a huge factor in that semifinal win, but when it was crunch time, it was Considine. He carried 8 of the last 9 plays on the game-winning drive. First down and goal from the 6.
Well, that tells you something about his conditioning right there.
And he goes both ways. He had a key interception, the 4-yard line, as Montini was looking to build on their lead they had. First and goal. And it will be Tufford here near the goal line.
Well, the theory always is you have a 12th defender down here when you're this close. The field is actually wider than it is deeper in these kind of situations. But what I like here is anytime you have a quarterback that comes up under center, that's good quick yardage. Usually you see these teams now, they come out of the spread. Well, they're further away from the line of scrimmage.
Shank is right up there underneath Jacob Barber. They're going to put it in the air. Shank knocked away. Big play in the end zone.
you talk about discipline, defensive discipline, that's where it was right there. You go up against a team that runs the ball 9 out of 10 times, and here they are on their goal line. They go to play action pass, and you're able to defend it. That really shows me some good defensive discipline.
How about Reed Stinson dropping back, 6 foot, 220-pounder, to getting his hands on the ball. You don't see a number 63 in coverage too often.
But that tells you he'll be bugging the coach next, if they have it next year to be a running back.
No gain on the first 2 plays. Here's 3rd down. They're going to go wide to Henkel. Henkel will cut it back in, twisting, diving, stretching, and I think they're going to say he's a bit short. His knee went down before he could extend that left arm. It'll be 4th and goal inside the 1.
You don't usually see the quick pitch that much anymore, but out of the wing tee you do. You can see the tackles out in front. He pulls in front of him. A good effort right there. And he was on top of the body of the defender, so that was kind of a score right there. But, of course, the officials don't have the ability to see replay as we do.
The push from behind. Touchdown, Byron. The quarterback, Aiden Shank, caps off a 12-play drive after the interception by Carter Groharing.
And you could see who he ran behind. He got in behind Barber, 225-pound center, and the left guard, Wanich, who's also a wrestler and a tough young man, 240 pounds. And so you're going to get a half a yard right here. Good surge by that offensive line. Gets him in the end zone.
Nick Drake, 60 out of 63 in extra points, looking for his 2nd here tonight. Straight through, and Byron jumps on top. 14-0. They use 5 minutes and 42 seconds, 12 plays, puts them in the end zone.
Well, you can see why they're so consistent. They just run the ball, and they have great confidence in that offensive line. Now, you can have all of these runners that you want. They have 2 running backs that have over 1,000 yards. But you've got to give credit to that offensive line. Without those people doing their job, there are no 2,000-yard runners.
Some numbers for Byron, and this is does not bode well for Mount Carmel. They scored 58 points per game. In fact, if Byron can put 52 points on the scoreboard here today, which of course is below their season average, they will set an all-time scoring record. The flip side for Mount Carmel, Byron only allows 6.7 points per game.
Well, I guess I'm old school as far as football coach, but I don't want him seeing them break that record. That's just not the kind of record I like to see him break.
2:03 to play in the first quarter.
And 22, Asher.
Byron Tigers dominating. Blaine Sisson never leaves the field. He's back there with Asher Kite.
And he came up and made a big tackle for a quarterback earlier, so you can tell that young man's a real tough person.
Again, they don't want either one of those 2 to handle it. However, it will bound in the hands of Kite. Ooh, and Kite takes a hit. You talk about hits. How about the hit labeled by number 32, Dylan Shank?
Kite on the return.
Oof.
By 33.
Feel that up here.
Byron is dedicated this season, back when they fell in the semifinals last year, to IC Catholic, dedicated in the weight room, and you can see it here. Let's take a look at the hit here from Shank.
Well, you're going to get big hits like that when you're in special teams because it's more open field. And so you're going to have running starts at those kind of tackles. So a lot of times you're going to see those kind of stadium-shaking tackles.
It's an offense that on the season has been 70-30 run pass, and the running has been done by that guy right there, and he gives it up. Sisson fumbles it away, and Byron will have it inside the 35-yard line.
Well, Sisson averages 16 yards, 16 carries a game. And for a quarterback, that's an awful lot of time running the football. And when you get up against linebackers like Byron has, you're going to take some hits. There was a quarterback draw right there, and just a good hit from the backside. He just pulls the ball right out of there. And again, this is the 2nd consecutive time for possession that Byron has excellent field position.
Fumble recovery by Jared Clunch. 35 with whistles.
That so far is the only thing that stopped Byron.
Remember on that last drive after the interception, there was a penalty on the first play.
By the defense.
Mount Carmel, the Golden Aces, will take the timeout. A little bit shell-shocked here early, and this is exactly what they did not want to have happen.
Well, part of that is the fact that they've been given excellent field position.
Let's take a look at how these teams got their way to normal. Again, first time since 1998 we've been here. There you go, right on the Indiana border, making that journey here to Hancock Stadium. You know, and if you extended that blue line right there, you might just about run into Byron coming right back down to you. For the Tigers, they have won state championships at Northern Illinois University and University of Illinois. That's their 2 state titles. They're looking to do one here at Illinois State University this year.
The trifecta.
The Byron team 24-1 in their last 25 games. Well, how about this? If you go back to 2016, Byron Tigers 85-7. Jeff Boyer, he was not only a coach of one of those 2 state championship teams, he was the quarterback on the first one. That came in 1999 when he played with defensive coordinator Sean Considine. First play after the turnover. That's 4 yards on first down.
Well, some of these teams are not used to seeing teams that run old, and I want to say old-fashioned style football, the old wing T. But when you get teams like Byron that run it so effectively with the type of personnel that they have that can run it, that makes a whole difference. And then you throw in a big offensive line that averages 245 pounds. That's just another plus.
4-yard pickup for Considine on first down. This time the keeper and a quarterback now is Andrew Talbert. Talbert, the freshman, 5'8", 160-pound freshman, an outstanding athlete. He has seen time at quarterback position this year, trading off with the senior. Last week against Montini was Shank that went all the way. This time, Talbert gets some early action behind center.
Well, Talbert, the longest run he's had this year is 50 yards, so he's got excellent speed. He averages, as a running quarterback, 14.8 yards per carry. That's a quarterback, and I'm not talking about him throwing the ball for that average. I'm talking about him running for that average.
Byron 3 of 4 on third down. Talbert again. Nobody knows he has it. Talbert spinning and scoring. Freshman Andrew Talbert. 3 touchdowns in the first quarter for Byron.
What a way to break a young quarterback in the state championship game, have him run for a touchdown. And he's been playing behind Aiden Shank the entire year, but they've played him enough that he has confidence in himself, and the coaches are letting him run with the football. But when you have that kind of speed, you don't have to worry about it too much.
For the extra point, Drake. Did we tell you we were going to have some points in this ball game? They've all come from the orange and black Byron Tigers. 21-0. Still 26 seconds to play in the first quarter.
Well, this is just a kind of a bootleggish look, but it's just a spin out and a sweep by a quarterback that has excellent speed. Now, with that move he just showed me on the goal line where he spun out, it's hard to believe that he's a freshman. So that kind of tells you what he has ahead of them and what Byron has ahead of them as a future with a quarterback.
How about that? You have Talbert, who's a freshman. We talked about Braden Knoll. He's a junior this year. He'll be back. And then Caden Considine, a sophomore. So if you're scheduling next year, you want to try to avoid the Byron Tigers.
Freshman quarterback and 2 running backs that are underclassmen. Yep. I'll tell you what, if I'm the athletic director of school that's scheduling them, he might be run out of town.
Total yards so far here 154 to 11. Byron, not only that margin offensively, they have forced 2 turnovers. They've scored every time they've touched the ball.
The other part of that, Dave, is the fact that Byron really takes advantage of the field position that they've been given. And only really good football teams do that. When you get good field position, you have to get points out of it. And that's what they do, especially in this game so far.
This time Drake will hit it deep to Kite from about the 8-yard line. Kite with good wheels. He's got a little bit of an opening. They'll get close to the 35-yard line. Mount Carmel will look to put things in action, but they're going to have to go against Caden Considine defensively. We mentioned his dad's a defensive coordinator, but did you know his dad, Sean Considine, not only a star at Byron, a star for the Baltimore Ravens and a Super Bowl champs. And who's that little 37 on the top? And who's that little 37 there? Well, that's Caden Considine owing the Super Bowl victory. How about that?
You talk about having some athletic genes, and in this case, football genes. And I don't mean Jeans. That's pretty good.
Been a very quiet Mount Carmel sideline and fan section. Ooh. Sisson has nowhere to go. It was Jacob Ross that made the initial penetration.
Well, one of our keys in the beginning of the ball game was contain the quarterback. That was one of Byron's keys, and so far they've been able to do that.
This first quarter is not how Mount Carmel wanted things to go, but you couldn't have drawn it up any better for Byron. At the end of one, the Tigers, looking for the third state title in school history, lead it 21-0.
Feels good to be.
Upgrade your skills at Lakeland College. Our trade and technical programs will land you the job in a high-demand field. Start your path to the Laker Advantage at lakelandcollege.edu.
Call JT's Tree and Crane and remove those hazardous trees today. JT's also offers emergency services and storm damage cleanup. So when you think trees, think JT's.
Proud sponsor of the JT's Tree and Crane Weather Garden.
If you're searching for that great gift idea this holiday season for that guy or gal that loves to hit the links, look no further than WCIA 3's Golf Tour Extravaganza. 15 courses, $400 value for only $100. Grab yours today.
I told myself I was okay with my moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis symptoms.
With my psoriatic arthritis symptoms. But just okay isn't okay.
And I was done settling.
If you still have symptoms after a TNF blocker like Humira or Enbrel, Rinvoq is different and may help. Rinvoq is a once-daily pill that can dramatically relieve RA and PSA symptoms, including fatigue for some. It can stop joint damage, and in PSA, can leave skin clear or almost clear.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers including lymphoma and skin cancer, death, heart attack, stroke, and tears in the stomach or intestines occurred. People 50 and older with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risks. Don't take if allergic to Rinvoq, as serious reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Done settling?
Ask your rheumatologist for Rinvoq.
And take back what's yours.
Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
Upgrade your skills at Lakeland College. Our trade and technical programs will land you the job in a high-demand field. Start your path to the Laker Advantage at lakelandcollege.edu.
With you on the IHSA TV network. Tigers up 21-0. Mount Carmel plays at Riverview Stadium, and it's a 2,100-seat concrete structure built into a bluff overlooking the Wabash River. Ever since 1927, guys, it's been referred to as the Snake Pit because of the amount of snakes that live on the hillside that the facility was dug into. Coach Brewer assured us there are no snakes around anymore, and Dave, I can't tell you how glad I am that there are no snakes here at Hancock Stadium. You would have to find a new sideline reporter.
Well, I saw you when Mount Carmel came on the field. Your head was on a swivel. You were checking for snakes. I know when you and I spoke earlier in the week, Casey, and that creeped both of us out.
Oh, yeah.
We start the second quarter. Going to pitch here to the near side. Kite running out of room. He'll get about 4 yards on first down before he's brought down by Kai Aiken. You know, back to the Snake Pit, that is one of the most unique stadiums, not just because of the name, but built into the bluff. The team comes from the top of the hill, walks straight through the bleachers, 126 steps down to the field. 96-year-old stadium. They just got field turf this year, or last year, I should say.
And they probably had to fight the community to get that. But seriously, you know, there are a lot of people, they like the tradition of those old stadiums.
3rd down and 6. Now Carmel had a first down on their initial drive. Sisson fakes the pitch. He'll take it. He'll turn the corner. Sisson the first down. You see the quick feet from Blaine Sisson. He'd originally committed to Southern Illinois University Carbondale and then decided, you know what, my dream has always been to play in a Big Ten. He'll be a preferred walk-on at the University of Illinois next year.
This is just a good job with that fake. Just that little movement of him faking the pitch forced that outside linebacker to take a step outside. He was able to turn it up inside. These are the little things that they're going to have to do to get back in the ball game. They can't rely on him alone. Somebody else has got to be involved.
Flag goes down. Kite to the near side across midfield. The flag was thrown on the opposite side of the field. Asher Kite missed the last 4 weeks of the regular season. Played briefly in round 1. And what did he do the last couple of weeks? Well, he's rushed for 306 yards.
I think it's going to be against Mount Carmel.
Illegal formation. 5 men in the backfield. On the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Everybody's bundled up here today, including our referee, Roy Hincamper. He's joined by Jeff Meyer, the linesman. Umpires, Fred Steinway, Doug Elledge. The line judge and the back judge, Joe Kuhlman, working your 3A championship game.
Well, when you get officials down here, they do a great job all year long, and that's how they get to be able to do the championship games this weekend based on the questionnaires that are sent to the coaches of games that they have done. And so that gives you an idea of what an outstanding crew this is.
1st and 15. Sisson plants, throws a little bit too much. He was looking for his favorite receiver. That was Andrew Gillihan. Missed him by about 3 to 5 yards.
That wind is a little bit of a factor here, Dave. That flag is really blowing pretty hard, so has a little emphasis on the quarterback throwing the ball.
You know, and actually that pass was intended for Shane Metter, yet another freshman that you see a lot here in the Friday games. There is the flag. Right now, Mount Carmel 0 for 4 throwing the ball. And they're going into that win. Second and 15. Motion from Kite. Nothing there for Sisson. He'll have to create. Able to get good yardage off the broken play.
That was a great job of coverage by the secondary of Byron. And that forces a quarterback like that. Now, if you don't have a quarterback like that, that's a really an outstanding athlete. That's a big loss of yardage right there. But the secondary did a great job of coverage, which forced him into scrambling and kept the play alive for a bit anyway.
3rd down and 9, throwing into a 10-mile-an-hour wind coming straight in his face. It's 32 degrees here right now at Hancock Stadium. Play action. Screen.
Oh,
and a tackle. What a job by Braden Noel. Number 1 for Byron. Just stopped that play in its tracks.
What an outstanding defensive job he just did. And, of course, on offense, he has over 1,000 yards rushing. So that gives you versatility right here. The way he reads this and plays off the blocker. That's what's so very impressive. Not just the tackle, which was excellent, but the key to that play was how he fought off that blocker.
Yeah, and I believe Asher Kite thought he had something really big going there, and all of a sudden, number 1 just emerged from behind that blocker, and they're going to go for it. Trailing by 21, 4th down and 8. Room to the outside for Sisson if he wants it, being chased. Oh. He stumbles, gets rid of it, and nearly complete. Oh, my goodness.
That was quite an athletic move right there. It shows you what kind of an athlete and how competitive he is.
Nick Ingram was on the chase all the way, and yet Sisson is able to escape.
Well, again, you're talking about an athlete right here, but the other part of that is the great speed coming up from behind to make that play. And that's just something that's, you can't create speed. And Byron basically has it on both sides of the football. And that was Nick Ingram did a nice job of coming up from behind.
Anthony Peach could not hang on. And again, the ball inside the 50-yard line for Byron as they start a drive. Straight up the middle.
And this is what keeps the defense staying home, is when you pound that fullback up inside. You give all the misdirection. You give the jet sweep, which puts the pressure on the outside linebackers in the corners, and then you run the fullback up inside. And they're really keeping Mount Carmel off balance by play calling.
Considine with 107 yards rushing. Kai Aiken has come in at the right half. Anthony Talbert is still at quarterback. And again, that pile surges forward. That should be enough for a first down. It will be very close if not.
So far in this ball game, that front five have done an excellent job. Brass and Klonich and Barber and Harris and Cullister. They've been outstanding controlling that line of scrimmage and giving the opportunity for those running backs to make good yardage.
Here's a look at him right there, number 65, Jared Klonch, Class 4A All-Stater. Had two brothers that played at Byron, Kevin and Andrew.
And the other part of that, Dave, is he's been a starter for 3 years. He's a junior now. He started as a freshman.
He was at right tackle that year. Talbert, the carry. He has room. Here he goes.
That's the speed we talked about for a young freshman quarterback.
Andrew Talbert. 38-yard run.
You'll be hearing about him. Only a freshman. 2 touchdowns already in the state championship game. Here's the speed. Good fake right there, and it's a power play for the quarterback off tackle. He just outruns his blockers, basically. And anytime you look at statistics for running backs, one of the things you look at is not only what's their average per carry, but what's their longest run. That gives you an idea of what kind of downfield speed that they have.
Drake 4 for 4. Byron 4 for 4 on possessions. This one lasted only a minute 16 seconds. 3 plays, 48 yards. Talbert, the score, his second of the night. 28-0 Tigers.
Every day, Union Concrete contractors are fueling a foundation that lets our city stand tall. They bring the tools, training, and know-how required to bring your commercial projects in on time and with the highest levels of safety. Visit concreteil.com today to browse Northern Illinois' top union contractors specializing in commercial concrete and find the contractors you need to get your job done right.
I couldn't ask for a better agent, for a better company in a disaster where you have no idea where to start.
I learned that there's not a given in life. It takes a team. There's people that are going to watch out for us and that care.
It's been pretty stressful. Once we saw Lori and got our plan, it's
like a huge weight lifted.
Well, we're going to take a look here and take a look at a freshman quarterback with the fake to the fullback. Everybody closes on him. Then he runs off tackle. And with the kind of speed he has, there's not going to be anybody within 10 yards. He outruns his blockers. And to think that he's only a freshman, I'm very impressed with him. 2 touchdowns already.
Andrew Talbert did not start the game at quarterback. 3 carries, 2 touchdowns for Talbert. As Jeff Boyer's head coach said, just an unbelievable athlete. Byron doing what they have done to every opponent this season, and that is stick points on the board, averaging 58 points on the board per game.
Well, coming into this point right now in this kickoff, Byron's had 23 plays 23 runs, actually, for 202 yards. And by my math skills, that's about 8.8 average. That's amazing.
Human calculator to my right. Here's Sisson. And he'll just dance it outside and get out of bounds. And, boy, if Mount Carmel has a drive in them, they need it right here.
Now, you talk about a young man and you talk about conditioning. Sisson does it all. He's on all the special teams. He's the quarterback, and he runs basically 90% of their plays offensively. And then he plays defensive back. So he really never comes off the field except to get a drink at halftime and maybe at the quarter break.
Go by yourself and come over here. Shane, are you out? Yes,
you can hear right there, they're getting their assignment.
I'm always impressed by these throwback players that play both ways. It's always amazing to me, especially now. And, of course, you know, when does he spend time in the weight room? Because he's an athlete that plays other sports.
Sisson tries to spin out of one tackle. He's able to get about 4 yards, close to 5.
The only thing that he needs to watch is he tries to get those extra yards, and he lets go of that other hand, and he reaches out with the football. That's one thing if your knee is down, but it's another thing if you're still trying to get an extra yard or two and you reach out. That's when you're fumbling the football, when that elbow is away from the body.
You guys hear me? Hello? Hello?
6 carries, 29 yards for Sisson. What a playoff run he had coming into this game. In 4 playoff games, Sisson rushed for 902 yards, 312 of them coming last week in the semifinal win over Roxana. There are too many orange jerseys right there. Look left, look right, and a short gain.
Well, Byron is basically telling Mount Carmel, you're going to have to beat us with somebody else because we're going to take Sisson away from your offense.
So far, they've not been able to get the ball consistently to either Kite or to the favorite receiver. That was Gillahan. Mount Carmel, 1 of 3 on third downs, facing a 3rd and 4 here. Kite, he is stretched out. Kite is going down for a loss. Number 81, Braden Kilduff. Part of a group of tacklers right there. Kilduff, 6'3", 215-pound senior.
Right after the handoff, he started getting depth into the backfield, which really gave an angle to the defensive lineman. Watch the depth he starts getting here. And that's what allowed the corner to come up and force the play to be turned inside. You cannot get depth. You've got to get flatter to the line of scrimmage and even an angle going up.
4th down and 8. Sisson is the punter. Play clock at 5 at 4.
He averages 35 yards a punt.
He'll have to kick it low. Takes a pretty good hop at the 41-yard line. Noah along the near sideline. And once again, Byron will start a drive in Mount Carmel territory. This time with 5 minutes and 15 seconds to play. It's been all Tigers, 28-zip.
Would you look at that? I'm in the classroom again. But this time, I can apply these skills to make some money. Lots of money.
Have a cough, sore throat, or fever, or need care now for pink eye, a urinary tract infection, or a rash? OSF On-Call Urgent Care is here to treat you. Get care in person, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, even holidays, and walk out with a prescription for your care if needed. Make a reservation today or start a virtual visit 24/7. It's just that easy. Find a location near you. osfoncall.org/urgent care.
Financial, we can help you find the answers.
State finals being played here at Hancock Stadium, first time since 1998, but for Mount Carmel. They were here in 1981 under head coach Larry Davis, playing in Class 3A, and yeah, that's what it looked like in 1981. Big win, a perfect season for Mount Carmel. The Aces, their first and only state football championship. The final score, 22-8 over Bishop McNamara from Kankakee. So the Golden Aces return here to Hancock Stadium, and that big trophy is sitting in their trophy case right there in southeastern Illinois.
What you don't see anymore are all those big neck rolls that all those players were wearing.
Considine will get to the 30-yard line. That's a gain of 11 on first down. I don't know that he was touched until about 8 yards through that run.
What's so impressive about him is how quick he hits the line of scrimmage. And that really helps the offensive linemen because they don't have to sustain their blocks as long. All they do is got to make a little contact, and he's at the line of scrimmage.
Considine, both offensively and defensively, already getting interest from Power 5 schools. The pitch. This time it will go to Knoll. He's got room to the outside. Braden Knoll, look at him turn on the jets for the score. 31-yard touchdown run for Knoll. A two-play drive.
And that was all set up by Considine running up inside so tough and so continually that all of a sudden the outside people were starting to come down, and eventually a good call from the coaches up in the booth, run it outside with the option, touchdown.
As he has all season long, Nick Drake getting a workout here, looking for his 5th extra point. Byron, 5 possessions, 5 touchdowns. Here's the most recent.
Fake to the fullback up inside. Everybody closed down. He gets the edge. No backside discipline in that particular play. And like he did last week against Montini when he scored 3 touchdowns, he gets outside and can outrun the secondary. Well-designed play off of this particular offense by Byron.
Scores from this season. Okay, so we see 35 on the scoreboard. Still about 5 minutes left to play. 7 times scored over 60 points. High of 77. The low came, as you mentioned, Jack, last week against Montini, scoring 26. What a great ball game that was, that Byron had to come from behind in the 4th quarter. And an interception from Considine near the goal line. He returned it about 50 yards to midfield and carried 8 of the next 9 plays for the go-ahead score. That came with a little over 3 minutes to play.
Well, adding on to that offensive issue that you just came up with, defensively, they've had 5 shutouts so far, and then they had 4 games where they had 7 or fewer points scored. So that tells you something about their defense as well as their offense.
Ball goes to Sisson. He makes a few people miss before he takes it out to the 37-yard line. Casey Standahar is on the sidelines, has an injury update for us.
Dave, thanks. About Carmel lineman Grayson Tinsley holding his right knee on the sidelines in a lot of pain after that last drive. He's trying to straighten his knee right now, rubbing it out a little bit. He has been talking with trainers. He is questionable to return, but he was able to get up and walk on that leg.
All right, very good. Thanks, Casey. Is he working it out here in 32-degree temperatures?
His hair color matches the helmet.
I didn't know he had his helmet off.
Well, that's the only way I knew is there was no chin strap or mouth guard. Or face mask, rather.
Golden Ace is looking to get something going here. Sisson forced to dump it off. So you had 3 people chasing Sisson in the backfield. You had another 3 Byron Tigers on top of Kite. I want to make sure there's only 11 orange jerseys out there. They are all over the place.
That's a good point, but that also played into my comment about their defense and shutouts and how they've held teams all year long. When you get a team that scores that much offensively, that tells you they've got excellent speed. Well, that speed carries over to the defensive side of the football.
Second down and 10. They'll dump it here to the near side. Good block. Kite. Good run. Wrestled down hard as he gets to the 43-yard line.
You got to get upfield a little quicker than they are, though. They're doing a lot of parallel running, and you got to get up the field.
Byron rotating different players in defensively, keeping some fresh bodies out there. Number 37 hasn't left the field. That's Considine.
Well, he's only a sophomore. They want to give him some playing time and experience.
You know what? Seriously, though, he has come out of most games, almost every game in the third and fourth quarters.
Oh, that should be a flag.
Yep, there it is. Yeah, Jacob Ross came in a little bit late there, and that will move the ball about 15 yards downfield with under 4 minutes to play here in the first half.
Well, when added on to their scoring average of 58 points a game, what that does, it probably creates some animosity against your opponents, but it creates depth if you're getting all these other kids in the ball game. And the other part of it is
dead ball, personal foul, and this third roughness. Number 23 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. First down.
The other thing that it does is you get kids an opportunity to play, but it takes away the statistics from the starters because they're out of the ball game. So somebody will say, how good are they? They only got 1,000 yards. Well, they've only played a half in each one of those games.
So you're talking about Considine with almost 1,500 yards coming into this game. Knoll with over 1,000. And like you said, playing a couple of quarters a game. And that will be no play whistles. Blow on the field. There's number 7, Andrew Gillihan. He's been quiet tonight. Gillihan, 60 catches for 902 yards this season.
That's quite a statistic for a high school player.
Start on the offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
All right, I'm not going to pick on Connor Shelby because this is a great story. Number 77, Shelby had that penalty. He grew up right here in Normal. His dad was hired as the Mount Carmel principal in 2021, so Connor moved. But all his Normal Junior Football League and Normal West coaches and family, they're here at the game, about 100 people here to cheer on Connor Shelby. What a great homecoming. Sisson floats it out there. Second interception of the night. This time it comes by Kai Aiken. 3 turnovers for Mount Carmel in the first half.
And that was basically double coverage. They had a man over the top and a corner drop it underneath, and he tried to drop it in between, and it didn't work out. Byron just plays excellent defense. That secondary is not getting the same accolades that defensive front and linebackers are getting. Little play fake right here. You tried to see, he got held up a wee bit, but still a good athletic interception right there.
That time Sisson was looking for Gillihan.
And this might be the worst field position so far that Byron's had.
And that is confirmed by our statistician. I refer to him as my left-hand man because Nick Pinto was always on my left. This is the worst field position, if there is such a thing here, for Byron. Talbert. Oh, forget about that. He is gone. Being chased. Sisson on the move. Talbert looks back and falls in the end zone. His 3rd touchdown of the night.
3rd touchdown for a freshman quarterback. That's an amazing statistic. 77 yards. Coming into the game, his longest touchdown run was 50 yards. So what a time to save your best run of the year for the state championship game.
Jeff Boyer, the head coach, says, referring to his offense, "They make me look good. Whatever I call seems to work."
I guess. What an amazing. And the thing is that the running backs are all coming back, and now you have him, so that you got 2,000-yard rushers. So now you're bringing a quarterback back out of the wing T look. That could add another 1,000 yards right there. And it's just pure speed. I mean, they're running the quarterback power. He finds the seam and just turns it on. But think of that hypothetically for next year to have 3,000-yard rushers in the same backfield, and all of them underclassmen.
5 carries, 156 yards, 3 touchdowns for the freshman quarterback Andrew Talbert.
All in the first half.
Oh, that's right. We're only in the first half. Wow.
Least you forget. In our open, I made a comment about having the light bulbs in the scoreboard, and I think some people thought that was joking.
Well, the folks that have been with us here in the first half have seen why. Tigers average 58 points per game. Now, if you're looking ahead. 52 is the magic number for a couple different reasons. It would set a 3A playoff game scoring record, but 52 points here tonight would set an all-time Illinois high school scoring record for points in a season. Peoria with 803 points was set a few years ago. And Byron 10 points away from breaking that record, a record that Jeff Boyer says we haven't even talked about. Other people are talking about it. They'll go deep from the 5-yard line. Sisson will take it out to the 27. You see Blaine Sisson. You look on the opposite side, and you see number 82, Malik Morton, on the kickoff coverage, but Blaine Sisson just kind of wobbled. I shouldn't say wobbled. He wasn't sprinting to his huddle. He's been hit hard tonight.
And the other part of it is he's been hit hard, but he's been involved in almost every play. Running the football, throwing the football, punting the football, return man on kickoffs, which there have been a lot of. So he's been taking some hits.
3 Mount Carmel turnovers capitalized by Byron in terms of 3 touchdowns.
And this is something that Sisson and the coaching staff need to do. First down is so critical. You got to get 4 yards out of first down to have anything going in your game plan.
83 yards, second down and 7.
There's just 3 yards on first down there.
And part of it is the field position has not been very good for the Mount Carmel Aces.
They have brought a lot of people from southeastern Illinois. Kite has a little bit of room off right tackle. He's going to have himself a first down across the 40-yard line.
There's a play right there. That was I think a combination of Sisson being a little tired and didn't want to carry the ball, but it was also a well-designed option play the outside. Picks up 12 yards, but they're all closing down between the tackles on Sisson, and so he's able to get the ball on the outside on the pitch.
Fresh set of downs as we approach the 2-minute mark here in the first half. Little inside handoff, but so much penetration. It was just a matter of who was going to get the tackle. Again, it was Nick Ingram, number 30. He was involved in that play, clogging things up.
That defensive front of the Byron Tigers has been so very effective against that offensive line of Mount Carmel. They've just been controlling that line of scrimmage and really opening it up. You can see the penetration right there. That's the key. If you drive them back in the backfield, that throws off the entire timing of the play, and that's exactly what's been happening by that defensive front of Byron.
That was number 65, Jared Clunch, with that tackle as we take a look at a full weekend of high school football championships. Earlier today, many people considered an upset. Lena Winslow unable to go 4 straight state champions because Camp Point Central got its first state football championship in a 14-0 shutout. Then Wilmington grounded its way to a 28-3 win over Athens. That ball game had 0 yards passing. We see the score here as we approach halftime in this one, and we still have 1 more to go. Rochester Rockets will look to win their 9th state title in 9 attempts. And they'll take on St. Lawrence. First time the Vikings have been here since 1979.
A lot of outstanding programs ahead of us, not only today, but tomorrow.
Oh, my.
Tomorrow is loaded with some of the top teams and top programs that have been in the history of the state of Illinois.
Well, in this particular field this year, there were 5 defending champions looking to come back and defend. Lena Winslow unable to do that. We will see the likes of Joliet Catholic, Nazareth Academy, Cary Grove, East St. Louis. And that'll get started at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Loyola, Mount Carmel.
Sisson's able to get across midfield. Got himself about 14 yards. He probably ran about 34.
That gives you an idea of what kind of an athlete he is and how productive he's been all year long. That's what he produced during most of the season. Today, it's just a little different defense that he's been up against.
14-yard run, Sisson's longest of the day. Came in averaging about 9.5 yards per carry on the season, over 2,000 yards rushing. He'll look to throw, and that ball's deflected, and did it get picked off in time? Yes, it did. Oh, my goodness, what an interception from Kai Aiken.
Boy, that was a great athletic move for him to keep his feet in bounds and concentrate on making the catch with his hands. You talk about a defensive play that should be down on tape for him to show to some college. That would be it.
Second interception in as many defensive possessions by Kai Aiken. The ball was tipped by Noel, I believe. Here's a look at it.
That's just great concentration and athleticism right there to be able to keep his feet in bounds while he's concentrating on catching the football.
Third interception, fourth turnover.
And the receiver was double covered right there.
Powering it up the middle to the outside, and Considine hard to bring down. Got about 5 yards, maybe a bit more. He got about 8 yards.
87 yards, and second down and 3.
I'm really impressed with this offensive line of Byron.
You can see why Michael Brewer looked at the tape one play in, just said, wow. Noel to the outside. He slips the tackle. Now Sisson on the chase. Noel still fighting to the 25-yard line.
That play was made by his move at the line of scrimmage. 27 yards there, but it was really the move that he made at the line of scrimmage with this little step jump to get to the outside. It kind of gives you an idea what he did to Montini last week, but watch his move cutting back right in here. Right there was the cut where he got inside that defensive back.
For the 25. So again, it's Talbert just following that offensive line. Got about 8 on first down. Timeout called. I believe that will be Byron taking the first time out here.
Toughest thing that's going to happen right here, Dave, is the talk at halftime by these coaches. For both of them.
And there you see Jeff Boyer talking to his offensive unit. And it was Byron that took that timeout. They'd like to punch one more in here in the final 37 seconds. They've not been kept out of the end zone tonight. Jeff Boyer, young-looking man right there with that stocking cap on. Younger-looking man when he was back in the Byron uniform. There he is, number 15. In fact, we were speaking with Jeff Boyer earlier in the week, and he had a number 19 jersey sitting behind him in his office. We asked, was that your jersey number? Nope, that was the year we won a state championship. So Jeff Boyer's a quarterback for what prior to this year had been the highest scoring Byron team.
You know that old term that records are meant to be broken.
Looking to throw, open, and unable to hang on, taking a big hit in the end zone. Anthony Peach put a big hit, and let's see who that is down there that really got stuck. And that's Ashton Henkel.
Well, it was a good throw. And that could have been another touchdown right there.
So Henkel will be looked at here, but give credit to Anthony Peach. He zeroed in on Henkel. Pretty good throw. Coming up at halftime, of course, we'll have Darius Joshua along with Edgy Tim. Back into the game, it's Aiden Shank. He was the one that threw that pass. And that had touchdown written all over it till Peach arrived.
Well, it was a good throw, but you've got to give Anthony Peach, 5'8", 160-pounder, a lot of credit, because that was, you talk about timing. That's exactly how you coach it. If you can't get there before the ball is there, make sure you make that contact as the ball is there.
Third down and a couple. That's more than a couple. That's going to be 6. Touchdown Byron. Caden Considine, his second touchdown run. 17-yard run for Considine.
Well, he's been the workhorse through most of this ball game, certainly in the first quarter. And this is a situation where they kind of threw the ball, which kind of loosened up the linebackers in the secondary a little bit. And then all of a sudden you give him the ball. And he is such a mature sophomore for a 200-pounder at 6'2", so he's got a lot of growth ahead of him. You can put the weight on him, but you can't put the height on him.
7 for 7 in terms of extra points, in terms of touchdown. Here is touchdown number 7 from Considine.
You'll see the cutback right there is just a little kick out by the tackle, but this is just good running. A lot of times you think of a fullback as a plotter that just goes straight up the middle, but you saw the quickness, how he cut back. And this is what gives him the kind of yardage that he normally gets. He gets through the line of scrimmage very quickly, and he has those cutback moves against the linebackers. I'll bet his dad couldn't put him on his shoulders right now.
I don't know.
At 205 pounds, I wouldn't want to put him on my shoulders.
You know, what a thrill, of course, Dad, Sean Considine, playing in a state championship, winning a state championship, winning a Super Bowl, having his son there. But how special is it to be coaching your son in this championship game?
And see the kind of results. You know, it's one thing to have your son in the state championship game. I mean, that's just a great thing to happen. But then to have the results that he is producing thus far in this ball game is amazing.
Hey, Greg, to kick off.
I guess we can see why Byron has been so prolific scoring this year. Part of it is not only their offense is so good, but I'll tell you what, their defense is very good.
Well, you talk about numbers, 58 points per game scored, allowing only 6.7, you said earlier, 5 shutouts. And how often does that happen? You have a big offense, the defense does get overlooked, but it's been a show tonight.
It really has, and I think it's a combination of things. These kids are so tight. From the standpoint of what I mean by tight is their togetherness as people, that they're just, they feed off each other, both offensively and defensively.
Let's see how Mount Carmel approaches these final 25 seconds. Turned the ball over 4 times tonight. But 4 of the 7 touchdowns have come after turnovers. Leave it on the ground to Asher Kite. Kite's able to bang his way up near the 30-yard line. I think Mount Carmel will be just satisfied enough here. Let's get in the locker room. Let's take a deep breath. And the clock hits 0. First half comes to a close, and you said it, Jack. I think a lot of folks, not just here at Hancock Stadium, but watching here in the IHSA television network, I'd be curious as to whether this Byron team was all that. Well, they're all that and more. That's your halftime score. 49 points, 7 for 7 touchdowns in 7 possessions. A defense that has turned the ball over 4 times against Mount Carmel. And pure domination here in your 3A championship game after 1 half of play. Jeff Boyer, the head coach in his 12th season, 114 wins, just 27 losses, mentioned earlier. This team 85-7 since 2016. And they are looking for state championship number 3 here after winning one in 1999 and 2021. Jeff Boyer was part of each of those 2 teams. And he is standing by right now with Casey Standahar.
Coach, your team taking advantage of great field position and proactive defense. How much of an emphasis was that tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we stress defense all the time. I mean, that's what wins championships. They played really, really well. 3 turnovers in that first half, but, you know, give credit to our offensive line, too, and making sure that they're opening up holes up front.
Considine and Talbert with a dominant first half performance. How do they elevate this team?
It was impressive. I mean, they're young kids, but, you know, they showed up to play tonight, and everybody on the team has. I mean, I couldn't imagine a better first half than what that was.
Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Darius, Edgy, send it back to you in Chicago.
Casey, thank you. I don't know if there's anything Jeff Boyer does not like about the first half he put together there. Both sides of the ball for Byron are as advertised, so they have a huge lead here at halftime.
I mean, if you're Jeff Boyer, if you're Byron, I mean, I don't know, buy lotto tickets. I mean, it's all going your way. It's absolutely going your way. Couldn't have drawn it up any better in the first half. And outside of that, wow.
Yeah,
just wow.
Byron had 6 rushing touchdowns in 2019, which tied a state record. They have 7 in the first half here alone to have a 49-0 lead here at halftime. We will show you the highlights, many touchdowns to choose from Byron's side. We'll show you those highlights and you get ready for the final game of the day when we come back here on the IHSA TV network.
Attention high school students. If you're tired of hearing the same old college debt story, we've got an exciting alternative for you. Join the Mid-America Carpenters Union and let your career dreams take flight. You can earn great pay, enjoy no-cost health insurance, and secure a stable retirement, all with no college debt and an elite career that's here to stay. It's time to build your future your way. Ready to carve your path to success? Contact the Mid-America Carpenters Union today to learn how you can unleash your potential.
Prepare for the holidays with great Black Friday deals at Menards. We have the perfect gifts for your family and friends, or to help finish your projects, both big and small. Now's the perfect time to hurry in and get these amazing stocking stuffers and other fantastic gifts. Menards Black Friday deals are so great that even Santa himself can't resist.
For the season's greetings to you all from Menards.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
I'm attorney Howard Ankin. I'm proud to be a 1990 graduate at the University of Illinois. And today, I'm one of the largest filers of workers' compensation cases throughout the state. From Champaign to Chicago and everywhere in between, I'm helping people with auto accidents, work injuries, slip and fall cases, medical malpractice, and any other type of injury accident-related matter. Let me see what I can do for you. Call me at 312-6-MILLION. Injury law made personal, that's Ankin Law.
The IHSA, committed to keeping student-athletes safe. Through educational initiatives and national partnerships, we're going the distance to develop safer protocols for our teams. Plus, we continue to improve scheduling and conditioning to reduce injuries from preseason through each state championship. 31 sports, 350,000 student-athletes, and one goal, player safety. The IHSA, the future plays here.
Welcome back to the IHSA TV network. Darius Joshua here. Edgy Tim with you. 49-0 Byron here at halftime. Both sides of the ball delivering for the Tigers here. Which side impressed you more?
Well, I mean, 49 points are really hard to ignore. You got to be impressed with that. But, you know, defensively as well, Byron has just locked everything down. This is an all-state quarterback running this offense. They put up big numbers all year and made them look very common, and that's a very hard thing to do. So again, it's all three phases. It's clicking for Byron, absolutely clicking.
We knew, obviously, Byron coming in with 754 points coming into the game. You knew they put up points, but even maybe we did it. We undersold how good that defense is. Just 87 points allowed all season. Let's go to the highlights of this 49-0 halftime lead. Late in the first quarter, already 14-0 Byron. You can't have this if you're Mount Carmel. Blaine Sisson running up the middle, and he fumbles. Jaron Klotz there with the recovery. Byron takes over in Mount Carmel territory. Later on, Andrew Talbert, the freshman, with the spin move at the goal line. That gets him into the end zone. 21-0 after the first quarter. Then here a pitch to Braden Knoll from Talbert. That leads to another touchdown, a huge run, 31 yards for Knoll. 35-0 Byron at that point. Going through the rushing totals here, 378 yards on the ground, 7 touchdowns, 154 yards for Talbert, 144 for Considine. He's also got 2 touchdowns. Knoll, the one bringing up the rear there, just 69 rushing yards for him. And a lot of those guys, Considine, a sophomore, Talbot, a freshman. What are you seeing from these young guys that they're performing here on the biggest stage?
Yeah, we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast about underclassmen and how we're going to see from this round all the way up through 8A, you're going to see several underclassmen that are key players. Now, I'll be honest with you, my friend. I didn't expect to see a freshman quarterback rush for 3 touchdowns. But again, it sticks with the storyline. Underclassmen stepping up, becoming bigger and bigger parts of these premier programs. You didn't see this 10, 15 years ago. Very different game now. You're putting your best possible player on the field. You see what's happening. You're winning games. So, again, if you're the best guy, you're out there playing in more cases than not. We're going to see a lot of that the rest of this weekend.
And Byron, of course, giving their offense plenty of opportunities with 4 total turnovers, 3 interceptions, the fumble recovery in that first half. So if you are Michael Brewer, what are you saying to your team here at halftime down 49-0?
Well, again, you just want to put one foot after the other is what you want to do. You just want to go back out there, start executing, start moving the ball. Again, easier said than done. But again, you need to just go back. It's 0-0. I know it's cliche. I know no one in that locker room is going to believe it, but that's what you have to sell. And then the other thing you have to sell is, look, we've averaged a ton of points all this year. It's a whole. They put up 49 in the first half. Let's go put 49 up in this half. Oh, I know it's a reach, but that's the only approach you can have it, I think, if you're Michael Brewer.
Yeah, the Mount Carmel gave a 48 points all season. That was the most they gave up, giving up 49 here in the first half.
And pride.
Big, of course, that's going to be a big motivator for them here in the second half. A big hill to climb. Record watch here in the second half as well. 52 points, the most in a 3A title game. 52 points for Byron to set the all-time single season scoring mark here. A little more to come here at halftime. 49-0. Byron, to stick with us. We'll be right back.
This November is dedicated to the men and women who served, giving the voices from every branch and every conflict a chance to share their stories. WCIA's Brandon Morano takes you through their service, their work and struggles back home, and the tributes to those who didn't come home. WCIA 3 is honoring veterans' voices for celebrating Central Illinois. Sponsored by Express Employment Professionals, Copper Creek Contractors, OSF Healthcare, the McDonald Group, and Harriet's Rent Tents Events.
Bob Riding's pre-owned under $29,990. Ford, GM, Honda, Nissan, Kia, Toyota, and many more. 2020 Ford Escape Hybrid, $27,988.
Shop us online at bobridings.com.
I have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Thanks to Skyrizi, I'm on my way with clearer skin. 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, had a vaccine, or plan to.
Nothing on my skin means everything. Ask your dermatologist about Skyrizi. Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
I have active psoriatic arthritis, but with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm feeling this moment. Along with clearer skin, Skyrizi helps me move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue, and is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, had a vaccine, or plan to.
There's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today. Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
Find the season's hottest toys at Macy's. Shop Toys R Us now at Macy's.
Welcome back. Halftime of our 3A championship game. Byron with the 49-0 lead, well on their way to another championship in their school's history. That's the 3rd game of the day, though. We still got one more game to come for you here on Championship Friday. That one coming up in Class 4A. Rochester taking on St. Lawrence. A little bit like the game we're seeing right now. One team who hasn't been in a while and another trying to add another title.
Yeah, another team in Rochester that's known for putting up big points and big yards. And, well, again, St. Lawrence has been battle-tested all year. We'll see how that matchup goes.
That's a lot of history on one side with the team trying to end a long drought for championships for them. St. Lawrence has not been there since 1976. A freshman quarterback leads his team in rushing yards, and you check out the move here at the goal line. 5 carries, 154 yards. His squad up big at half. We'll be right back.
Attention high school students. If you're tired of hearing the same old college debt story, we've got an exciting alternative for you. Join the Mid-America Carpenters Union and let your career dreams take flight. You can earn great pay, enjoy no-cost health insurance, and secure a stable retirement, all with no college debt and an elite career that's here to stay. It's time to build your future your way. Ready to carve your path to success? Contact the Mid-America Carpenters Union today to learn how you can unleash your potential.
Prepare for the holidays with great Black Friday deals at Menards. We have the perfect gifts for your family and friends, or to help finish your projects, both big and small. Now's the perfect time to hurry in and get these amazing stocking stuffers and other fantastic gifts. Menards Black Friday deals are so great that even Santa himself can't resist.
40 seasons greetings to you all from Menards.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
The halftime stats are brought to you by Lyona. Start your career in construction today at LyonaCareers.org. Some whopping numbers here for Byron here at the half. 378 rushing yards, 7 rushing touchdowns, a new Class 3A title game record with a big performance here in the first half, and surprisingly all that in just 12 minutes of possession time. But they've got the 49-0 lead here at the half. Dave Bernhardt and Jack McInerney will take it through the second half. Will history be made on one side or the other? Just 3 points away from Byron from setting an all-time single-season score record. We'll see you after the game.
The WCIA3 News app features a sleek, modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news and a localized weather forecast. There are more ways to watch and find video, and a red light alert badge notifies you when we're streaming. Download or update the WCIA3 News app today. The most accurate forecast with weather alerts and interactive radar. The WCIA3 Weather app. Always on. Download it today.
You know there's a light that glows by the front door. Don't forget the keys under the mat. When childhood stars shine, always stay humble and kind. Don't expect a free ride from no one. Don't hold a grudge or a chip, and here's why. Bitterness keeps you from flying. Always stay humble and kind. Hold the door, say please, say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, don't lie. I know you got mountains to climb, but always stay humble and kind.
You ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see?
Oh, Max, you broke it. No, don't do that. Bad boy.
Find out what we're made of. When we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3. I'll be there.
Welcome Welcome back to Hancock Stadium on the campus of Illinois State University. Big halftime lead for Byron, 49-0. Glad to have you with us, Dave Bernhardt, along with Jack McInerney. Jack, it's been historic so far, and we still have a couple of quarters to go.
Well, all the things that we heard about Byron's offense, they came true. There's no doubt about it. They are so efficient and proficient. But the thing that really impresses me is their defense. I mean, they've got it all. That offense is really fun to watch, but defense is what wins championships, and they've got an outstanding defense.
Let's take a look at some of those defensive highlights here in this one. Of course, your defensive plays of the game brought to you by Union Carpenters and Contractors, partners in building communities and supporting working families. First, it's Carter Grow-Herring.
Well, they're just jumping all over the turnovers here and taking advantage of the field position. They're zeroing in on the quarterback and jumping with double coverage right there over and under. And there's the pick. And they end up with excellent field position again. Here's another force, a tip ball. But that was great athleticism right there, catching it with concentration to keeping his feet in bounds.
Jared Clonch with that fumble recovery. Then number 29 there, Kai Aiken with a couple of interceptions. And, that's all you have to do, right, is score 49 points, take advantage of 4 turnovers. Let's take advantage of our sideline first, and that's Casey Standahart.
Dave, I talked with head coach Michael Brewer for Mount Carmel. Obviously a disappointing first half for him and his team. He said he took him into the locker room and just expressed gratitude for the season that they had so far. He said, we didn't have a week 15 available to us. That was all we could do so far. We're going to go represent our community well and play our hearts out the rest of these 2 quarters. Guys.
What a great message, Jack.
It certainly is. And it's a tough message for a coach to give to his kids at halftime. Oftentimes, you might give that message at the end of a close ball game. But to do that at halftime gives you an idea of the class that coach has.
Well, I'm not sure how much we're going to see of Andrew Talbert and Caden Considine here in the second half, so let's throw a couple of numbers here at you. First of all, for Talbert, freshman quarterback, he had 5 carries, 154 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Considine, sophomore fullback, with 15 runs for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns. So you put those 2 underclassmen together, 20 carries, almost 300 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
So I guess if we think that this Byron's team offensively is very prolific, if you put those players together next year, can they beat these kind of averages? It'd be hard to believe that they could.
Well, you've got, you have Jared Clonch coming back, Nolan Brass. That's the left side of your offensive line. You have seniors Josh Harris, Jacob Barber, and Maverick Gulster that will graduate following this academic year. And let's see, what I'm really curious about now, especially after hearing what Casey told us from Michael Brewer, the body language from Mount Carmel. Just play free and easy. You got a nice message from your coach. Let's see how the second half plays out.
Well, there used to be a term that coaches would say, look, they scored 49 in the first half. Why can't we score 50 in the second half? I mean, that's something you might tell a player. But in reality, against a team like this, I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, and you have a running clock as well here in the second half with this 49-point lead.
I think what's going to happen is we're going to see a lot of kids playing a state championship game from both sides. Not only Mount Carmel, but from Byron. And that's a great thing where kids come down. And 20 years from now at a reunion, they'll be talking about, I played in the state championship game. They might only play a minute, but by the time that sentence is over, they've been starters and they were all state and all American and everything else.
First time today, Nick Drake will be kicking off without following a touchdown. And into the end zone. We've seen all sorts of kickoffs from Drake, and it will be Mount Carmel ball to start here in the third quarter. Coming up, we have St. Lawrence taking on Rochester in our 4A championship ball game. That will kick off at 7 o'clock tonight. First couple of games had some low-scoring games. Well, we called it. This one, anything but low-scoring.
Go get one in the bag.
A good look inside at the defensive alignment, or the offensive alignment, and defensively, number 53 for Byron, getting a little bit of action here. That's Josh Harris.
A couple of things as a coach, what you tell them, the word pride. You can have team pride and you can have personal pride. And that's what's going to happen here for Mount Carmel in the second half.
Couple of yards on first down for Sisson.
And the second half will be conducted under a running clock.
Some of the Mount Carmel fans are still getting some hot chocolate down at the concession stands. You see that clock running, it will run. Will not stop on first downs or out of bounds or punts. No gain for Asher Kite. You see the familiar numbers out there just swarming, pounding up the middle. You have Considine along with Clouch, a couple of All-Staters.
Probably after this quarter's over, we're going to start seeing in the fourth quarter next year's teams. Kids that are juniors and, you know, that are players that didn't get a lot of playing time for either team. We're going to be seeing a lot of them in the fourth quarter for the coaches to evaluate what they might have for next year.
That pocket closed in a hurry, and Sisson will be buried.
Sisson, ball carrier.
Again, so many orange jerseys led by number 37, Considine.
And part of that, Dave, is the fact that the secondary coverage is just outstanding. I mean, those guys are locking on the receivers. Linebackers are coming, putting pressure on him, which forces him not really to give that much of a look downfield as it is to the rushers that are coming after him.
Hunt on the run. Starting from the 37-yard line after the return from Braden Knoll.
Talk about field position.
Braden Knoll here. That was like a low-line drive to center field.
It stayed under the lights. I was surprised that he was even able to see it.
Knoll, by the way, a baseball player. Not much room on first down. Hayden Shank, senior quarterback, back in for Byron. He threw that one pass into the end zone that was knocked away. We've seen Talbert with the runs. Shank will throw the ball a little bit if need be. I don't know that we'll see that here in the second half.
Well, that ball was right on the money. It was a very impressive throw, and you'd say to yourself, well, if he can throw like that all the time, why don't they? Well, they don't need to. They got a couple rushers that gain over 1,000 yards.
Knoll squirts out. Braden Knoll to the end zone, and he is in. 34-yard run from Braden Knoll, and with that, Byron has become the all-time highest-scoring single-season team in IHSA football history. With that touchdown, it also becomes the highest-scoring point total in a 3A championship team.
Well, we've just seen a very impressive football team, offensively and defensively, but shout-outs have to go to that offensive line. They've just been outstanding, especially when you have a running team, not a passing team, or a well-balanced team that throws 60% and runs 40%, or vice versa. They just have an outstanding line, which we'll get back to.
Here's that touchdown run from Braden Knoll. Record-setting run, 56-0.
May you live in interesting times. Like it or not, we live in interesting times. They are times of danger and uncertainty. But they are also the most creative of any time in the history of mankind. So, this Thanksgiving, as we take time to reflect, give thanks for family, friends, and community. Yes, we live in interesting times, but peace resides in a grateful heart.
Oh my gosh, wow. Who am I?
Wow, is that really me?
Hi, I'm Jonathan Greenhut, the CEO of Plexiderm. All it takes is 10 minutes to reduce the appearance of under eye bags, wrinkles, and crow's feet. The instant results are from naturally based silicates found in shell clay. Once applied, your skin tightens and firms. Take action with our Plexiderm 10-minute challenge. Try it today for only $14.95, plus get free shipping. Visit plexidermtrial.com or call the number on your screen.
Well, those fans from Byron may look relaxed right now, but every touchdown has elicited the same roar as any other touchdown. Looking up at the board, no strange numbers for Byron fans. 56 points on the scoreboard. They average 58 per game on the first 13 games.
I think a lot of people would say, well, who did they play? And they played people that are awful darn good, because during the season, for example, they played actually 9 playoff teams, which is pretty darn good. So you say if somebody's averaging 58 points a game, well, they're playing Little Sisters of the Poor. They played 9 playoff teams, which is a very impressive statistic.
You know, and the other part of that is you say, well, who have they played? And after seeing this performance here, you'd say it doesn't matter.
That's right. That's a good point. I would agree.
This is one of the most, not just because of the score, but impressive football teams that we have seen down here, especially in Class 3A. On the Friday games, this team is special.
Well, they're so efficient, for example, offensively. So efficient. In order to run the wing tee as effectively as they have, the timing has to be almost meticulous. And it has been. I mean, to play almost your best game at the end of the season in the state championship game, that might be what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Still coming at you, no room for Kite. It's been a frustrating night for Asher Kite. He came in despite missing 4 games with 860 yards on the season. You know, the other part of this too is Mount Carmel came in averaging about 43 points per game, and they have not had a sniff of the end zone here.
And what's interesting of that average, they run the ball coming into this ball game for about 282 yards a game. Well, they haven't come close to that, obviously, and they throw for 149. So statistically, that gives you an idea of how efficient Byron's defense has been.
Sisson will get to the outside. Blaine Sisson, now it's a foot race, and he's going to pull away. Blaine Sisson will take it the distance. Mount Carmel is on the board.
And does he deserve that? He really deserves that. 81 yards. And you wonder how he was able to do it. He never comes off the field. He plays defense. He punts the ball. He's in there on kickoff and kickoff returns. And now he goes 81 yards for a touchdown. That is when we talked about play for pride, mentally and physically. There's a perfect example of it right there. He's not looking at the scoreboard. He's just playing football.
We saw number 16 for Byron. The last man who had a shot at him, that was Andrew Talbert. And this time, Sisson runs away from Talbert rather than the other way earlier in this game. And so the look to kick the extra point was Shade Loudermilk. Loudermilk with those lime green cleats, and he'll send it right through. So Mount Carmel, 81 yards, and the score for Blaine Sisson. And that 0 is wiped off the scoreboard as the Golden Aces put some points on the board.
When you plant Whiffles hybrids, you're making a statement that independence and family-owned means something on your farm. So make your choice. Plant your independence. Plant Whiffles.
Every day, Union Concrete contractors are fueling a foundation that lets our city stand tall. They bring the tools, training, and know-how required to bring your commercial projects in on time and with the highest levels of safety. Visit concreteil.com today to browse Northern Illinois' top union contractors specializing in commercial concrete and find the contractors you need to get your job done right.
Every year, you have a choice. One that says staying independent and family-owned means something on your farm. So plant your independence. Plant Wibbles.
There's number 2, Blaine Sisson. His longest run of the season comes in a state championship game, 81 yards on the run. In fact, that's 1 yard more than Mount Carmel gained total in the first half.
That's an amazing statistic. To think on one run, it's more than they gained. That tells you something about the defense. But the other thing that it tells me is Sisson, what kind of an athlete he is and the pride that he takes. I'm surprised that he could run that far for things that he's done in that first half.
Well, once he got to the outside, his feet were flying.
And as you mentioned, the fact that he beat Talbert was very impressive. Loudermilk with his hand raised in the air. And looking for an open spot on the field. He found it. Ooh. It will be Byron football. Let's go to Casey Sanderhart.
Guys, Byron head coach Jeff Boyer is also a math teacher, but he said it would be so difficult to add up just how many state titles his coaching staff has been involved in over the years. There are a lot of folks still coaching who played on that 99 state title team and are descendants of the Coach Everett Stein era. Stein was the head coach for 37 years at Byron from 67 to 03, led his team to the playoffs 15 times. He actually flew in from Texas to be here and support his guys. He even spoke to the team.
How special is that? 37-year head coach, revered in the Byron community, says, I'm coming up and joining you from Texas. And there is Everett Stein, one of the legends of Illinois high school football. Stein with a conversation with the team areas, speaking to the team in August, and that's how programs are built, when you have the young folks respecting those that came before you. Kai Aiken with this carry.
And probably at that point, those kids were kneeling there and listening to him, but their dads probably played for him, or their uncles. Mm-hmm. You know, those type of things in those kind of communities. I think that's really, really a neat point.
First down, Byron.
First down carry for Aiken. A couple of interceptions for Kai Aiken tonight. And Shank at quarterback for the Tigers.
With this score right here, Dave, we still have a really nice crowd here. Very nice crowd.
You know, and it looks good here at Illinois State. To the outside is Henkel. Henkel along that far sideline. Knocked out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. First year since 1998, the final's been held here at Hancock Stadium at Illinois State University. Of course, last year and every other year prior to that, it had been at University of Illinois, a cavernous stadium, 50, 60,000 seats. This seats about 13,000, so the crowd's really bunched, and you can really hear them out there.
And I believe this is a 5-year contract coming to Illinois State, because in the past, we rotated every year between Northern Illinois and Champaign, and I believe the contract for this year for Illinois State is 5 years.
The counter. Good first down pickup as Jacob Ross will get that carry. Ross, part of those bloodlines. His brother Andrew is a fullback and linebacker in the 21 championship team. Ross actually started on that team as well, 3-year starter. Sees most of his time on defense.
If a coach wanted to run this offense, all he has to do is get our tape of this game to be able to run this wing T to proficiency. You might not have these players, but as far as how this wing T offense is run, they have shown us that today.
Carson Bain will get the carry in the fullback spot. Tackle made by number 63 there, Reed Stinson. You saw him knock down a pass in the end zone, and that time he makes a tackle on a run.
He was a big defensive back at that point, wasn't he?
He was. Byron using pretty much the entire play clock here. Nice cut by Aiken at the line. Good drive forward. He'll get it close to the 5-yard line.
And that's a good job of showing you how the counter is run. They show you movement in one direction, and they come back with the wing back to the other side, and good blocking. Now, when you run the counter, that offensive line, right here's your counter, the guard and tackle kick out, and they're waiting for the defense to slide down. That guard leads up, kicks out, and the tackle leads up into the hole. A very effective play out of the wing T.
First down and goal. Bain right into the end zone. And Byron has cracked 60 points. 6-yard touchdown run for Carson Bain. The senior gets his name in a stat book for a score here on Championship Friday.
We're going to have a lot of pages to that stat book. And all I can say is our stat man, Nick Pinto, thank you for being here.
Never seen a man's fingers fly so rapidly. 63-7.
Byron 63, Mount Carmel 7.
There's just a quick dive, and he just hits up in there really quickly as that offensive line doesn't have to sustain much of a block. All they got to do is turn him just a little bit. You can see right there how he got up on the linebacker, and he's in the end zone.
So can you imagine what it feels like to be a running back when you see those lanes just the way they're supposed to be?
Well, I'll tell you right now, the guys that I'd be hanging around with are the offensive linemen. I wouldn't be hanging around with the cheerleaders. I'd be hanging around with the offensive linemen if they're going to give me stats like that.
We've already set a record, a 3A championship game record, a single season scoring record here, and we're one touchdown away for Byron to tie the all-time single championship game touchdowns in a game. That was 10.
Great kickoff.
We say there's a running clock, but when there are touchdowns scored, it stops. We've had 3 scores here in the third quarter. See the weapon here that Drake has been. They had been kicking short earlier in the game, but once that lead built up, I said that, why don't you just go ahead and kick it into the end zone, Nick Drake?
Well, Nick Drake, ironically, for a kicker, coming into this game, he was 59 for 62 on extra points. But ironically, when we look at they've been averaging 58 points a game. He's only 1 for 1 kicking field goals. That's all he's ever tried was 1 field goal, which was for 45 yards. So what does that tell you about, the kind of potential firepower they have with a kicker?
Well, and can you name the punter for Byron? Maybe not, right? Because Brock Wagner, he has only punted 3 times in 13 games. 2 of those came last week in the semifinals.
And he probably got a cramp doing that because he hadn't been kicking for so long.
The ball carrier.
And we saw games earlier today where, there were not many passes, but that was by design for different teams. But how about through 12 games, 1 punt?
Well, here's what's interesting. Sometimes you hear about parents or friends saying, how come you don't throw the ball to my friend or my son? How come you don't give him the ball? Now, can a parent or a friend legitimately say, why aren't you letting him punt more? Come on.
Sisson up the middle, looking to pick his spots. Still running hard. We'll get to the 35-yard line, coming off an 81-yard touchdown run.
I'm really impressed with him. He is really a good football player.
Preferred walk-on at the University of Illinois. Likely play receiver, cornerback. That's to be determined. You can see the athlete Blaine Sisson is, and what a career he is wrapping up. This was a young man that when he was in middle school, the community was excited about him as to what he would become when he got to high school, where here you are playing in a state championship game. How about that? Sisson improvises. Good job by the defensive line to make sure they didn't get downfield.
Well, when you have a quarterback like that, you just got to contain him. Keep him inside. Don't allow him to get outside to either run or throw the football. keep him inside the pocket. That's where you want him to become a pocket passer, not a scrambler, because that's when everything breaks down, when they get outside and they're able to throw the ball or scramble. Defensive backs take their eye off the receiver, big plays happen.
Again, that little hesitation to pick his spots. He has taken a beating here tonight.
He's going to have some bruises, bumps and bruises.
So number 25 there momentarily. That was Everett Wickman on the tackle, a senior, as Jeff Boyer getting a lot of his seniors into the ball game. Also in there, see Jacob Ross going both ways right now.
This is the kind of game where all seniors should play in. Now, if it's only a play or two, but still to step foot on the field so that they can say they stepped and played in the state championship game.
And able to get a timeout here just before that play clock went down to 0. Mount Carmel will take that timeout to avoid the penalty. We're in game 3 of 4 here today. Earlier on, bright sunshine early on. Camp Point Central, the shutout win over Lena Winslow. Defending state champions go down. Camp Point Central picking up its first state football championship in really quite dominating fashion. Talk about defense. And on the other side, in Class 2A, it was Wilmington with a 28-3 win over Athens. Wilmington claims another state championship. Of course, you see scoring this one 63-7, and then Jack and I will be back here with you as Rochester bids for its 9th state championship. They'll be taking on St. Lawrence. I guess we will call St. Lawrence the Cinderella team in these state finals.
No doubt about it. But you know, the other team you'd say Cinderella would be Nazareth. I mean, that's crazy to say, but they started out 0-4. But you're right. St. Lawrence is one of those teams. They came through the Catholic League, which is a real grind during the regular season. So that should be a real good matchup in our next ball game.
And that game will start at 7 o'clock. Been running ahead of schedule here this year. A lot of running, and this one, of course, a running clock. Sisson's able to get away from Kilduff, and that will be a penalty. That was intentional grounding right there on Sisson. He'll plead his case, but Roy Hincamper, the referee, will say no.
Well, he could say he was trying to throw a screen, but the problem is when you're scrambling like that, you can't pick out numbers. Figure out, is it a 60 that's standing over there, or is it a 16 or a 6?
This play will end the quarter. The clock, of course, continuing to run here during this discussion. And maybe it's not so obvious.
See, that's what I think. I think that they're going to say that he was throwing a screen.
Okay, we'll get our official call.
You look at this scoreboard, you got to compliment the officials on doing an outstanding job of officiating a ball game like this.
Friendly enough conversation on the sideline. Meanwhile, Hincamper looking across the field, the white hat. And here he comes.
All right. Blocking below the waist on the offense, 57. That penalty is declined. The quarter is over. It'll be 4th and 7.
And then that is all you need to know as we head to the 4th quarter. 63-7 in your 3A championship game. It's all Byron Tigers.
Johnny Newton.
This guy is really good.
From St. Petersburg, Florida.
This guy is a first-round talent, one of the best defensive linemen in all of America.
There is Johnny Newton.
What a player he has become.
This guy is athletic, and he's explosive.
This young man can flat out just take over a game.
Number 4 in blue is a stud.
He has a bright future playing on Sundays.
Your community college is the next step to the future you want, the future you deserve.
At Lakeland College, you'll find community invested in your success, majors that lead to jobs or transfer, and financial assistance. Build a schedule that fits your life with classes offered online and close to home. Take the first step and we'll help you every step of the way. Find your Laker advantage at lakelandcollege.edu.
Winter is coming to Central Illinois, so let's take a look at a survival kit you may want to have in your car in case you get stuck. First, before you even hit the road, make sure that you've got plenty of water. Also, make sure you have a blanket, some gloves, and a hat to stay warm. In case you get wet, an extra set of clothes, and some flares so you can be seen in the dark. And lastly, you'll want your phone charger and something to eat while you wait for help.
This severe weather tip is brought to you by Bryant Industries.
Bob Riding's pre-owned under $29,990. Ford, GM, Honda, Nissan, Kia, Toyota, and many more. 2020 Ford Escape Hybrid, $27,988.
Shop us online at bobridings.com.
Let's get real clear. If you have psoriasis and are experiencing joint pain, it could be psoriatic arthritis. Both are believed to be caused by excess inflammation inside the body. Get real with your dermatologist and ask about Real Clear Skin today.
Back with you on the IHSA TV network, and I'm joined now by legendary Byron head coach Everett Stein on the sidelines. Coach, you come back after 37 years of coaching. How special is it to be back here?
It's very special for me to watch a team like this. The coaches are at the varsity level are coaches that coach with me, or I coach them as players. So they're part of my football family, and these players are incredible. The job that the coaches have done and the job that the players have done from last year to this year is unbelievable.
I heard you flew in from Texas and you spoke to the team. What did you say? It must have been good because they put up 63 so far.
I don't know what. I just talked about doing the impossible. To win a state title, set the state scoring record. Only a few teams can do the impossible. So we talked about that and about all of the hard work that they've done for a year. And so it was an honor for me to be able to talk to them and to their incredible group.
It seems pretty possible right now that they're on their way to another state title. Let's go back to that team in '99 for a second, that special state title team. What about this Byron team reminds you of that team?
Offensively, they're pretty similar. This team is a little bit different. They do it a little bit different way. But in 1999, that team set the state scoring record, which was broke by several teams after that. And now this team had to go clear up to 800 points to break it. And so it's just incredible what they've done. Both teams were great and are great. And in my mind, two of the greatest teams of all time.
Everett Stein, thank you so much. Legendary coach, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. Dave, we'll send it back to you.
All right, great job, Casey, and thanks, Coach Stein, for taking time out, as during that time, a lot of new jerseys in this ball game for Byron. At quarterback, it is Carter Grohering, as Byron took over on downs. And off in the middle of the line, not much room there. On the carry, at 32, Dylan Shank.
Got a lot of new people coming in and out of here, which is great. Get everybody an opportunity to get in the ball game, but also, aside from making sure everybody gets a chance to get in the ball game, these coaches want to make sure that the execution is where they want it to be, because this is potentially next year's team in a sense. Although they're so young, these kids could probably be still in the same boat as next year as far as being in the backups.
Grohering working with the backfield of Liam Connell. The pitch will go to Dawson Criddle. Same offense, same colored jerseys, same result, first down.
And this goes back to the youth football program. And they're probably, I'm not positive, but I would suspect that as good as this offense is with the wing T, that they're probably running this same offense at the lower levels, of course, but also in the widget programs and the youth programs in Byron.
Fullback dive and a big hit inside. Mount Carmel's not going away. Number 22, Asher Kite, along with number 20, Preston Will. And a little bit of sticking in there on Dylan Shank.
One of the things you have to do is sell this offense to the lower levels, and because this is not the greatest offense anymore. It's kind of a throwback when you were playing and wearing a leather helmet. This is the kind of offenses those people played. Now everybody wants to throw the football. And so everybody wants to be a skill player, catching the ball, throwing the ball. So this is a hard offense to sell to people, but you can see how efficiently it's run.
Job right there at the line of scrimmage. Muscling his man and making sure everybody realizes that he was in there. It was Eric Acree. Acree on the stop of number 20, Liam Connell. You know, the other flip side of that is how many across the way, all those Byron fans, how many of those junior football league players are sitting over there and they're thinking, okay, boy, I hope this can be me in a few years.
That happens anytime these kids come downstate. All these communities come with them, and those little kids are looking and saying, I want to be like this. I want to play in the state championship. I want to play in this big stadium.
Criddle gets positive yardage on that play. We're down under 7 minutes to play in our running clock. It was 49-0 at halftime, and those 49 points in the first half were more than the entire scoring in the first two games today.
That's an amazing statistic.
8 quarters of football, the first two games.
And in the game prior to this, there was no passes thrown.
It's been a crazy day.
Oh, it certainly has. Record set. That was a record,
yes.
I believe, and now this is a record.
One more game to come tonight. St. Lawrence taking on Rochester.
I'm so grateful that you invited me down here, Dave, to be around to see all these records.
Did you like my calligraphy in that invitation?
Yes. I had to bring somebody in to decipher it.
That's about right.
It was like written by a former pharmacist. I could hardly read it.
But you're here, so we're happy. 4th and 3 now for Byron. Tigers have scored on every possession here tonight. And a beleaguered Mount Carmel defense. Herring, the third quarterback of the night for the Tigers. He's going to keep it. Can he get to the outside? He's get the outside, and he
fumbles in.
Is in. Touchdown. Carter Herring from 13 yards out. And Byron continues to score on every offensive possession.
That's just an incredible statistic right there.
This fourth quarter touchdown brought to you by Delta Dental. Find a dental plan that fits you at deltadentalil.com. And we'll get a new kicker, Ben Denton. Take his shot at it. High snap, ball down, kick up, and no good. So 69 on the board. Every possession has resulted in a score. 69-7.
Prepare for the holidays with great Black Friday deals at Menards. We have the perfect gifts for your family and friends, or to help finish your projects, both big and small. Now's the perfect time to hurry in and get these amazing stocking stuffers and other fantastic gifts. Menards Black Friday deals are so great that even Santa himself can't resist.
4 seasons greetings to you all from Menards.
imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
They're going to pass the football, and they're going to go to the end zone. Mayline makes the catch and the touchdown. And that's going to do it. The clock runs out.
The guys will say, you know, forget it. Here they are.
The pass from Smith. He's going to look for it all. He has Paul Skill there. Touchdown. 2018, they came up short. In 2019, coming up short, they had to wait.
Not a better picture to be found when a championship trophy goes up for the first time.
Those are the Sioux State championships for the Byron Tigers in 1999. That 41-8 win over St. Joe Ogden, then 35-7 over Unity just a couple of years ago.
I recognize that voice.
The first one or the second one?
The second one for sure.
Yeah, the second one. That sounded familiar. When I'm singing in the shower, that's quite...
It's amazing looking back on those old championship games and big plays like that. And, you know, that was not that often in those days to have big plays like that. Now it's an everyday occurrence, as we've seen today.
This is, nearly stayed on the green, but that'll be a touchback. Well, it's time now for Menard's Play of the Game. Save big money on all your home improvement needs. And it came from a freshman, Andrew Talbert.
Just an outstanding fake to the fullback inside. He uses his speed to get to the outside. And right there is a great athletic move with the spin turned into the end zone.
That was early on. 1 of 3 touchdowns tonight from Talbert. 1 of 10 on the night for Byron. And those 10 touchdowns, the most since Montini scored 10. You remember that ball game in 2011 against Joliet Catholic Academy.
Yes, I happened to be on the mic for that one. That was really an exciting game. And both teams, every time they touched the ball, they were scoring. And those were really 2 good football teams that played a lot of good teams during the regular season.
You know, when you look how close, speaking of Montini, how close Montini came to being in this title game, it was Byron who had to come from behind, used a key interception near the goal line with about 5 minutes left, then marched it down the field and scored the eventual winning touchdown with just a little over 3 minutes to play. Sisson still in there, still taking a beating. He does have himself an 81-yard touchdown run tonight, the only score of the night for the Golden Aces.
Well, it's a shame that Mount Carmel lost their very first ball game of the year, 21-14, to a team in Indiana. And then they go and come right down and win 12 in a row and then have to run into this buzzsaw in the state championship game.
Good hard run. It gets some cheers from the near sideline as Preston Will got the carry. His teammates still in it. Liam Connell with the tackle for Byron on that play.
Throughout this game, I just can't put a finger on which part of Byron I'm most impressed with, either the offense or the defense. But I get generally, and I just have to make the statement, I'm just impressed with Byron, period.
Nice cutback. And a ball fumbled. And it will be the 5th turnover of the night forced by that Byron defense.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Byron does offensively here, because they're going to have quite a lot of new faces in here to see what they're going to do with 3 minutes left. I would suspect that they're going to certainly take their time and let that clock run.
Number 88, Josh Perkins, with that fumble recovery. We'll head to break. 3:02 to play in this one. Byron getting ready to hoist a state championship trophy.
Smiles. These are the healthy smiles of real Delta Dental members. Folks with access to the nation's largest network of dentists and low-deductible plans with 100% preventive care coverage, all backed by over 65 years of expertise. Go online or give us a call to learn about affordable individual plans that meet your needs. 1-800-335-8215.
Have a cough, sore throat, or fever, or need care now for pink eye, a urinary tract infection, or a rash? OSF On-Call Urgent Care is here to treat you. Get care in person, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, even holidays, and walk out with a prescription for your care if needed. Make a reservation today or start a virtual visit 24/7. It's just that easy. Find a location near you. osfoncall.org/urgent care.
The IHSA Football State Championships are being brought to you in part by LIUNA. Start your career in construction today at liunacareers.org.
Two state champions have already been crowned here today. It was around noon when Camp Point Central won the Class 1A title with that 14-0 victory over Lena Winslow, and then Wilmington 28-3 win over Athens in 2A. Byron just moments away from playing the 3A championship, and then coming up next, undefeated Rochester. A running clock in every game but one for the Rockets this year, and they'll take on St. Lawrence. Byron with their fourth different quarterback. This is Dylan Springer in the ball game. So if you were wearing a orange jersey with an orange helmet and black pants, you're going to get into tonight's game.
Dawson Criddle, the ball carrier.
You know, and that's something too, right, Jack? I mean, managing, you have the assistant coaches managing how you can get everybody into this game.
Well, you know, that's an interesting point, Dave. I was going to bring it up before. You'd be surprised how difficult this is with personnel to make sure everybody's getting in the game. You talk to each position coach, and you tell him it's his responsibility to get offensive linemen in, running backs in, receivers, that type of thing. Nope.
That ball is fumbled.
Because from a management standpoint, the head coach can't be doing all those things. So the assistant coaches have to do that. And I'm sure that they've had pretty good practice at doing that this year based on the schedule and what the scores have been.
Well, in fact, over the course of the season, 20 different players have carried the ball, rushed the ball for Byron.
The other part of that is, you know how much better that makes practices? Because the kids realize that they're getting an opportunity to get in the ball game. So if they practice hard, the offense or the number one team does extremely well. That's going to give them an opportunity to get into the ball game.
J.J. Edmondson got into the game. He gets the carry. Asher Kite still working out there. Number 22. I mentioned earlier he missed 4 games this season. Obviously, with almost a 1,000-yard rusher, you missed him on offense, but Michael Brewer said, you know, we saw his impact on defense when he was gone. Coming up on a minute to play. And unless Byron breaks one, the clock will run out, and here comes a whole new fresh set of players for Byron, and I'm guessing, I have to decipher all the numbers and ones. I'm guessing this entire senior group that's on the field right now.
Either that or it's a freshman class, which with some of these teams, you know, they play an awful lot of freshmen and sophomores, and that could be the case. This could be the scout team that set them up for this.
Actually, as you were speaking, I was looking through several numbers. I believe they are all seniors, which is another really cool thing to do here for the last snap of the season. They will let this clock run all the way down, the play clock. And that will be the final play of the game. Byron wins its 3rd state championship in school history, 69-7 over Mount Carmel. 10 touchdowns, 531 yards, all yards coming on the ground. Congratulations to the Byron Tigers.
Those are some incredible statistics. We've seen a lot of records here in this game.
You know, the other part, you see the celebration right there for Mount Carmel. The hugs all around.
Well, this is a neat part of high school football. You don't see them doing this in the pros or in college. This is kind of unique, the sportsmanship. And I just think this is really good. I mean, there's a winner there and there's a loser, but in essence, they're both winners.
Well, as they go through that line, you can imagine, you know, the respect that Mount Carmel has for Byron and congratulating on the other side. Golden Aces didn't lay down one bit tonight. They were sticking here till the very end.
Well, the unfortunate part of the state championship game is somebody's going to have to leave the field as the runner-up. And but you got to this game. You played in the state championship.
The sixth time that Mount Carmel has been here, one state championship, and this will be the fifth runner-up finish for the Golden Aces. You think of back to those hot August days and the 32-degree temperature here tonight. Feels pretty good. Casey Standahar down the field. We've got some post-game interviews for you.
Guys, thanks. I'm here with Andrew Talbert. Andrew, a dominant performance from you. 154 yards, 3 touchdowns on 5 carries. How did you just come out here and get it done tonight?
I mean, this is not possible without the big boys up front. If they don't do their job, we don't get the touchdowns in the yards. So big thanks to them.
Byron breaks the all-time single-season scoring record in IHSA history tonight. They've done it before. They do it again. What's your response to hearing that?
I mean, we knew during the season we had a real chance at breaking that record, and we were just putting up big points during the season. And we knew coming in this game, there was no pressure and getting that record, and we came out and we do it.
You're 3A state champions. How does it feel?
Feels amazing. I love this team.
Congratulations, Andrew. Thank you so much. Coach Boyer, congratulations. You look like you're a bit wet there.
That's all right.
How does this championship feel, and where does it rank in your career?
They're all special. Every team's special. You know, these guys are unbelievable. I mean, you saw it tonight. I mean, I couldn't be more proud of this group. They've worked so hard for this, and they deserve it.
When your team is playing their best football, what are you seeing out there?
What you saw in the first half. I mean, the fakes, I mean, everybody's blocking. I mean, different people are touching the ball, playing great defense. You know, I mean, I thought we played our best game of the season here tonight.
Coach, congratulations. Go enjoy this one.
So
Stay warm and dry. Dave, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Casey. And, yeah, this is when you want to play your best game of the night. Let's take a look at our Country Financial Players of the Game. Players of the Game brought to you by Country Financial. Find out why over 1 million families let us protect their lives and livelihoods. Visit countryfinancial.com for more information. How about Caden Considine? He got things rolling early, big yardage for the sophomore.
Well, that's the big part of it, Jim, is as you just mentioned, he did it early, and that's what got him rolling right away, Dave, was the fact that he got to him right away, and then, of course, the freshman comes in and makes a couple of big runs. They were just so dominant in that first quarter. That was the game. The whole first quarter was the ball game.
5 turnovers by the defense. Your players of the game, kind of spooky for other teams, a freshman and a sophomore. Let's go to the PA and check out the awards here at Hancock Stadium.
From New Trier, Katie Caslin from Dunlap, Dwayne Bates of Glenbard East, Tom Shergan of Chicago de La Salle, Katie Hassan of Rockridge, and Dan Tully of Niles, Notre Dame. Finished the season in second place, the Mount Carmel Golden Aces. Individual awards will be presented to the superintendent, Dr. Chuck Blyer. Principal Andrew Shelby. Athletic Director Kyle Buss. Head Coach Michael Brewer. And the Golden Aces captains. And at this time, we'll present the second place trophy to the Mount Carmel Golden Aces, who finished the season with a final record of 12 wins and 2 losses. Congratulations to the Golden Aces. Finishing the season as the Class 3A state champions, the Byron Tigers.
Yes, sir.
Awards are presented to Superintendent Buster Barton, Principal Andy Donaldson, Athletic Director Jeff Milburn, Head Coach Jeff Boyer, and the Tigers captains. And at this time, we will present the championship trophy to the Byron Tigers, who finished the season with a final record of 14 wins and no losses. Congratulations to the Tigers.
Record points in the season, 823, 6,153 yards, and a 69-7 win for the Byron Tigers, the Class 3A state champions. We're not done here tonight. We're going to go back to Chicago in a bit, talk to Darius Joseph, along with Edgy Tim. For Jack McInerney, I'm Dave Bernhardt. We'll talk to you in a bit.
The IHSA Football State Championships are being brought to you in part by Menards, SIU Carbondale, and by Mid-America Carpenters Regional Council.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky. So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
You never know when you might be involved in an accident, so please put my number in your phone, 312-6-million. Injury law made personal, that's Ankin Law.
Prepare for the holidays with great Black Friday deals at Menards. We have the perfect gifts for your family and friends, or to help finish your projects, both big and small. Now's the perfect time to hurry in and get these amazing stocking stuffers and other fantastic gifts. Menards Black Friday deals are so great that even Santa himself can't resist.
4 seasons greetings to you all from Menards.
Attention high school students. If you're tired of hearing the same old college debt story, we've got an exciting alternative for you. Join the Mid-America Carpenters Union and let your career dreams take flight. You can earn great pay, enjoy no-cost health insurance, and secure a stable retirement, all with no college debt and an elite career that's here to stay. It's time to build your future your way. Ready to carve your path to success? Contact the Mid-America Carpenters Union today to learn how you can unleash your potential.
A championship for Byron, their third in the school's history, with the architect from their program, Everett Stein, in the building. He won the first title in the school's history. They get their third now. They played Mount Carmel back in 1999. They played Mount Carmel here again to come away with a championship. Darius Joshua here with Edgy Tim O'Halloran. Jack may have said it best. He did not know which side of the ball he was most impressed with from Byron. They were just flat out impressive in this victory.
Both sides were absolutely outstanding. And again, I mean, what's the old saying? Leave no doubt. Byron left no doubt. They are state champs, and
Who knows? They could maybe play another class or two up if you wanted to. I'm already getting those texts. How high can they compete? Well, how far do you think they could compete? Pretty high. And the guys touched on this as well. This is still a young team. Scary. Very scary.
Yeah, you put up 69 points. I think it's fair to ask, who else could they play in the state? 69-7 win here for Byron. Still plenty of highlights, of course, to show you from this one. A couple more highlights from the previous two champions as well. There's a trophy for Byron as they get their third in the school's history, taking down Mount Carmel 69-7, a historic performance. A lot to come here when we come back.
It's time to trade up. A job is just the place you go to work. A career is a path that moves you forward. Trade your job for a career in welding, HVAC, medical assisting, dental assisting, and more with hands-on training at Midwest Technical Institute. At MTI, you don't just get an education. You learn a valuable set of skills you can build on for a lifetime. It's time to trade up. Get the training you need for your new career at MTI.
May you live in interesting times. Like it or not, we live in interesting times. They are times of danger and uncertainty. But they are also the most creative of any time in the history of mankind. So, this Thanksgiving, as we take time to reflect, give thanks for family, friends, and community. Yes, we live in interesting times, but peace resides in a grateful heart.
Bob Riding's pre-owned under $29,990. Ford, GM, Honda, Nissan, Kia, Toyota, and many more. 2020 Ford Escape Hybrid, $27,988.
Shop us online at bobridings.com.
Welcome back to the IHSA TV network. Impressive is the only word that comes to mind after a 69-7 win for Byron in that one. And really, the Tigers set the tone early, had 21 points in that first quarter.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, they came, everything clicked. I mean, everything worked. It, you know, from the offense, the running game, being able to move the football, and then defensively, getting key turnovers. And I mean, that first half, Coach Boyer said it perfectly. I mean, you want an ideal half of football, it was that first half for Byron, no question about it.
It was a buffet of choices of highlights to show you, but we did pick a few, and we're going to show you some of them of the 69-7 victory for the Tigers. Late in the first quarter, already 14-0, Byron Blaine Sisson from Mount Carmel trying to get something sparked, but he gets stripped of the fumble there. Jared Couch with the recovery. Byron takes over. Next couple plays later, same score. Andrew Talbot, the freshman, spinning into the end zone to make it 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. Now 28-0. Andrew Talbot again pitching to Braden Knoll. He gets free, 31 yards to the house. It's 35-0 Byron. And then later in the second half, Braden Knoll again. This one for the record, 56 points on this one. That gave them the most points in a 3A title game. It also put them over the most points in a single season. They finished with 823 on the year, breaking the 805 points set by Peoria a few years back. A 69-7 win for the championship. They did it any way they wanted to. They did it on the ground, mostly offensively, and then, of course, they did it defensively, allowing just 7 points on the day.
Yeah, I go back to Andrew Talbot. You're a freshman. You've been in high school 4 months. You were the kid as a freshman that bought the elevator pass, and now you're just finding out there's no elevator. He's a freshman. Unbelievable. That kid comes in. You saw the spin move, the spinorama. That'll go down in history. He could be the mayor of Byron after tonight.
He could probably do anything he wants.
Pretty much.
5 carries, 155 yards, 3 touchdowns for the freshman. Caden Considine had 154 yards, 2 touchdowns for him. The running attack, basically, could name almost any player. They were successful on the ground.
Yeah, they were. And Coach Boyer talked about this and talked about it all year. The depth that they had. Now you understand why, because the starters only played a certain amount. The backups probably wound up getting more playing time, and there wasn't a whole mile of drop off from the backups to the starters. So just incredibly impressive.
Braden Knoll, Caden Considine, Andrew Talbot all scored multiple touchdowns in this game. Several other players getting into the end zone for a total of 530 rushing yards, just 2 yards short of the most for a single team in a 3A title game. They could turn around and hand the ball to whoever they wanted. They did pretty much anything they wanted in the running game. All 10 of their touchdowns coming on the ground in this game.
Now, I mean, is the wing tee cool now? I don't think so. I mean, I'd love for it to happen, but, you know, and people will say that, and you hear the argument, you know, well, you know, in this day and age, you know, why run that offense? Well, you saw why. We all saw why. It still works, and even in this era, it's even harder to defend because you see it less and less. So, again, really, really impressive in that offense. I'm telling you, the teams that run it generally run it pretty well.
Now, they averaged 58 points coming into this game, so we expected the offense to deliver, but we maybe undersold this defense a little bit. Only 87 points allowed all year, 5 shutouts through the season, and they had just 20 last week, so a lot of that coming in their last game. They were dominant in that first half.
Fast, fundamentally sound. They hit, they know how to tackle, they know how to wrap. It's what you want in a defense, and they showed it tonight. No doubt about it.
The few times that Mount Carmel tried to pass, Byron there for a couple of interceptions, had 3 in the game. They forced 2 fumbles, several of those leading to scores for Byron. That really is something you can't do with a team that already is going to put up a lot of points.
And again, in a couple, I know the one interception was a tip pass. The kid made an unbelievable play. It's your night when that happens. That's it, folks. It's like, okay, you know, yeah, this is our night. Everything's going our way. And they did. But you don't get to that point without a whole lot of hard work. And there's the payoff tonight right there.
I mean, that's unbelievable concentration to be there for the interception, to also get the foot in as well. That's just a tough turn for Mount Carmel. Obviously, they had a great season to get to this point, trying to win that first championship in several decades. They did get the 7. They had a big play from Braden Sisson. What do you kind of say to them if you're their head coach after a game like this?
Well, Sisson is going to wind up going to Illinois, and as Dave mentioned, he's a preferred walk-on. He's going to be a scholarship player probably pretty quick the way things go these days. Great athlete. You didn't get to this point. You know, all of a sudden you weren't bad. You know, you're a good team. You just ran up against a buzzsaw, bottom line. And again, this was kind of the team for the Golden Aces. Only 3 returning starters back that were underclassmen. So it's going to sting for a little while. But Michael Brewer, very good coach and alum. They'll build that program back up. And a ton of pride in that community with athletics. So, again, I don't expect it to be a very long transition before they're back up and winning again.
They've certainly been to the championship game several times. Michael Brewer actually said earlier this week, with how young Byron is, the only time that they're going to play them here is in the state championship or in the playoffs somehow. And he said he was afraid to see them in the future. Of course, you want to be in the state championship, but now Mount Carmel's played Byron twice in the playoffs. It has not gone their way. 69-7, the 3A final here as Byron comes away with their 3rd championship. Still a lot more to come here as we get ready for the final game of the day in Class 4A. Stick with us as we'll be right back.
Prepare for the holidays with great Black Friday deals at Menards. We have the perfect gifts for your family and friends.